And we are live, the Lonely Marks Wrestling Podcast here on the Movie Hero Network. Happy Wrestlemania weekend to all you people out there, to my fellow people here. Jacob Barber, I know you're a little tired, but how you doing, man? You ready to at least talk a little bit of wrestling?
I'm tired, but I'm always ready to talk some wrestling, especially WrestleMania 19, like you have in the title. It's my personal favorite WrestleMania, so the fact that y'all chose it is like it's a win for me. So,
dude, I think we all kind of like were hinting at it, so we were like, why don't we just talk about it? Because it was in Seattle, your neck of the woods, and it's just a good show in general. So you kind of threw the reins to me, because you're a little tired. No worries, I got you covered, buddy. We do our thing. Richie, happy WrestleMania weekend. How's it going down there?
Yeah. WrestleMania and Rock and Austin might be in the background. I have seen this WrestleMania. I love the bickering on this show. But anyway, we'll get to that. It's an exciting week. Not just WrestleMania, just all the shows around it. So it's always a good time of year, and I'm excited to delve into it.
Yeah, no, I saw most of Bloodsport kind of throughout the day today. It actually started right as I got to the gym, so I put it on while I was on the elliptical at the gym and watched about the first 45 minutes of it just on the elliptical. So that was a nice coincidence. It started literally around 4:00 or when I was getting there off work. So I watched a little bit of that. Kind of picked it up live when I was at Witch waiting for Monkey Man. I was eating some food before I went and saw that, and it was like right as the Shayna Baszler match was starting, so I saw that, and then the finals right after that, and then I went back right before we went live tonight. So I was like jumping all over the place, but I went back and watched like the other two Japanese guys and the Suzuki match and a couple other things. So saw most of Bloodsport. It's an interesting show. That's always a interesting like format for a show. It's not like you don't go to that show looking for those 20-minute like 5-star bangers, like those back and forth matches. It's just like the kind of anything, and most of them only last 5 to 8 minutes, tops. But I think the crowd still knows that, and they just go looking for something unique.
Yeah, I'll probably watch it a bit later. I know Charlie Dempsey's on that show, right? William Regal's kid.
Yeah, Charlie Dempsey. I think was a last-minute substitute, and I think he faced Timothy Thatcher. Yeah, I saw part of that one. Yeah. So that he was like a last-minute sub, and then the Shayna Baszler thing was interesting. The Josh Barnett and Johnny Bloodsport. He keeps billing himself as Johnny whatever, depending on where he is. Johnny is back.
Except for AEW, where he's still Johnny TV, even though that faction's not a thing anymore.
Yeah, but no, that was, and then I saw the Mike Bailey Nick Nemeth match, and that was interesting because people were talking about even on commentary how Mike Bailey is like the workhorse of WrestleMania weekend. I think even just that night he was working like 3 times or something, or scheduled to, because he had a Bloodsport. Now, granted, the Bloodsport thing was like 7 minutes, so it really wasn't gonna like tire him out or anything. But I think he was going right after that to WrestleCon and working RVD, and then I think he was working DDT that night as well. He might have even been working that midnight show, like the spring break show or whatever later. So yeah, I mean, dude works like every card on WrestleMania weekend, like all over the place. So
yeah, and there's also a TNA show coming up that he's got he's in a tag title match coming up soon.
He is. But yeah, I kept like looking at the cards, like the schedule just for the weekend, and like Mike Bailey was on like damn near every card. It was ridiculous. So he's driving all over the place and working this guy and working that guy. Hey, good on him. He's making some money doing his thing. So good for him. He's in demand. So but yeah, so it should be fun. Yeah, there's a lot of, I got my little Triller TV Plus 7-day trial, for WrestleMania weekend, so I can watch that and the Defy show. I'm gonna watch the House of Glory versus Revolver show, mainly because I think that JD from New York guy is like a commentator on that show, so for House of Glory, so that should be fun, and that sort of thing. And it just looked like a good card too. I think they got Amazing Red and Mustafa Ali in the main event. That should be good. Yeah, that should be a good main event. But yeah, all kinds of stuff going on. But yeah, not much in the way of news, and we'll kind of get into our eras cards and WrestleMania 19, and then we'll do predictions at the end of the show when JPO gets here. But yeah, I mean, just a couple of quick notes. Richie, you brought up that Clash of the Castle 2 announced for Scotland, I guess in July or something like that, or sometime in the summer, August maybe?
July,
yeah, which makes me think, and I know we're not in predictions yet, but almost makes me think that Drew might not be winning the title at Mania. Damian Priest might be winning the title at Mania after a cash-in, and maybe Drew goes on to possibly have a big moment at Clash of the Castle in Scotland. That's kind of turning my wheels in that thing, because he almost got it last year against Roman, and it's like, well, could he have his big moment this year in his home country? It makes me think. I don't know. What do you guys think? Like, it's kind of
possible.
Wheels turning for Mania a little bit.
I would think that it'd be a bigger deal if he won it at won the title in Scotland, as opposed to, I mean, WrestleMania would be a big deal, but
right.
But winning it in Scotland, in a pro crowd would be awesome. I mean, WrestleMania prediction, we'll get into it later on, but WrestleMania predictions are going to be quite complicated, because there's another match on the card that's not very straightforward either, and maybe an idea that Jacob brought about that I'm coming around to.
Well, Michael Cole, we'll talk about it, officially said that both the belts are the match does not end until all 4 belts are off the hook. So
yes, that's kind of conflict.
Yeah, that's interesting. That puts a kink in it.
I feel like that they're just like kind of foreshadowing that, hey, we're going to split the titles finally, because we've got enough teams. I mean, they had so many teams that they had to have qualifying matches for that match. Yes. When last year they could probably be like, all right, what teams do we have? Okay, you're in.
So that makes the predictions for that match maybe a little more complicated, because we might have to pick. I mean, you could pick one winner to win all of them, but you could. Pick
I don't think that's happening. I think one person's winning the SmackDown, one's winning
right. So you may have to pick 2 winners. We'll see. Yeah, how that works out. Just a couple little bits of news there, and then I mean, the other thing, we'll kind of we're not going to spend too much time on news this week, because obviously most of the news just kind of circles around WrestleMania. CM Punk on Ariel Helwani's show, an MMA hour. I listened to the whole thing at work this morning, so I got to hear pretty much everything. Most of the bits that are coming out, I mean, or all the stuff about him going into detail about, when he quit after the Wembley show. Essentially, that was kind of the big news about that. Calling Tony Khan a clown, saying, promotion's a joke, things like that. But I mean, he also did have good things to say about AEW. It wasn't all negative. Like he said, actually, there was more positives than negatives. And people are kind of brushing over that. He praised some people there. He kind of took a little shot at Dave Meltzer, saying, well, if you're more interested in getting a 5-star match than putting asses in the seats, essentially, then you got your priorities in the wrong order, things like that. Just some interesting bits and whatnot. We found out that the Survivor Series, when he came back, came together like 3 days before it actually happened, that quickly. Like, literally, he talks about how he got like a phone call around Thanksgiving, which was like 3 days before, and it all came together, and his lawyer was working overtime, and all the lawyers were working overtime to put together, like, literally signing contracts backstage at the show, like that sort of thing. Like, pretty insane stuff. Yeah. So we won't spend too much time on it, but it's well worth your time. It's a really, really good interview. Ariel Helwani did a good job of like asking the good questions, nothing softball, like he danced around 1 or 2 things because of the NDA he has against the Bucks and Omega, like because of their brawl, they had backstage. So he can't talk a lot about that. But he talked a lot about almost everything else. And Ariel did a good job of just letting him talk, and tell the stories and, just kind of pushing in the directions, but, letting him do his thing. So it was a really, really good interview. I definitely encourage you guys to listen to it.
Yeah. Ariel always gets a lot of like shit, especially from like MMA kind of like, for instigating stuff. I'm like, no, he's just good at asking questions. Yeah. And if it's stuff to kind of, I don't know, like it's stuff people sort of want to know. Like, I don't know, like Dana historically doesn't like him, but like he's really good. I just find him to be a really good journalist, to be honest. This is proof. And it was really, really good. Great interview. It was hard to, I mean, obviously there's always 2 sides to every story there, but like it's hard to fault a lot with what Punk was saying just on the, on the outside, sort of looking in as a fan. Like, it doesn't, like you can look at it where you look at the the news of the backstage fight and all that stuff, and you're like, yeah, it's obvious Tony Khan doesn't know how to control that, or wants to be everyone's friend and all that kind of deal. Yeah, and I mean, there's stuff coming out about Jack Perry now that he's been difficult to work with. So I don't know. So it's interesting on this week's AEW. The Young Bucks came out, they had a cheeky. Matthew Jackson was very cheeky. He was like, "Oh, I love your work, scapegoat," which is Jack Perry. So yeah, he just said that to the camera. So there's very subtle. I mean, not even that subtle.
Right. Yeah.
But yeah, so like it's I mean it's very interesting, big and it doesn't like I mean, like, CM Punk's not perfect. There's things that, like, the way he goes about things, I probably wouldn't go about it that way. But like, there is that thing where I think, people just like to, when they just hear things, CM Punk's always like bashing on a promotion, but it's like he said it himself in the interview. It's like, no, people ask me questions about things, and I
answer honestly about specific things. Like, he's like, I didn't bash the whole thing in general. He's like, certain situations I just told honestly the truth about what was going on. Yeah, for instance, the whole thing of like Jack going off and cussing people out or whatever, and him going up to Tony being like, do you want to do something about this? And Tony being like, what should I do? And that just shows you what kind of a boss he is, because he wasn't taking charge as a boss, just kind of letting the inmates run the asylum sort of thing. I did also listen to obviously Cornette breaking down the interview as well, which was very entertaining for an hour, and just talking about how, dude, if you tried to do that shit with like Bill Watts back in the day or some of these like promoters, these hard, they would have just slapped your ass back in line and and then put you in your place, shit like that. So it's well worth your time. Again, if you listen to it in context, it actually makes a lot of sense, what he's talking about, things like that. So well worth your time. I did see Cody was on there as well on Ariel's show.
And Rhea Ripley.
And Rhea Ripley, yeah, I haven't listened to those yet, but I'll probably get to those, I'm sure, over the weekend, at work or something like that. So cool stuff there. But yeah, so not much else on the news front. What else? Yeah, one thing.
I want to know how you guys feel about Roman Reigns being the one to induct Paul Heyman into the Hall of Fame, because I don't like that. I'm thinking they could like turn the Hall of Fame into like part of the storyline for WrestleMania, because the Hall of Fame, it just needs to be its own thing. Like, I understand, last year with Ray being inducted, Dom walking out, fine, that made sense, but it was a moment, and we can look past it. Ray gave a great speech. I'm worried that they're gonna like turn it and make it part of the storyline, because there were so many other people that could have inducted Paul Heyman. You could have had Punk do it. He's gonna be at WrestleMania. He's gonna be there. Punk could have been a good choice. You could, I don't know.
Tommy Dreamer. Some guys.
Was Bully Ray available? Devon, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, I know, because it's hard to know where they stand with them, but like maybe just like, hey, if you do this without, you're all good. Like, if everything was cool, the obvious choice would be Brock Lesnar, but but obviously it's
Stone Cold could have been a good choice.
And Stone Cold, Punk would be an obvious thing, but like, it's just like, if Roman's not in character, and he just sort of just talks candidly about Paul Heyman and what a legend of the business he is. That's cool, but like, I don't know. I get the concerns here. Like, I don't want Hall of Fame to be like, have kayfabe in there. You know what I mean? I want them to be honoring, legends of the past, and it's being its own thing. I don't want it to kind of be storyline driven. That will kind of make me not want to watch. I don't know.
Yeah. No, I mean, we'll see. Yeah, because it's just the intro, so we'll see how much, storyline driven the intro is. I know Paul has kind of said, the actual speech, he's just going to kind of wing it. So I guess he's probably thinking about it, but he's not going to have like a script he's reading off of or anything. So
I just have like some bullet points he wants to hit.
Yeah, maybe a few notes or bullet points, but Paul, he can probably just talk off the cuff about just about anything. So whatever pops into his head. But yeah, I mean, we'll see what happens. Yeah, I don't want it to become like just a platform for angles as well. I think that's not the right place for it. Yeah, a moment here, a moment there, that's fine. But yeah, I don't want it to become like something on stage or something. I don't know.
And I still think they should go back to being in a theater, not the ring. But it's me.
Like an arena, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think the problem with that is like now that they've gone to 2-night WrestleManias, you can't do it on Saturday anymore. So.
Oh yeah, I guess that's the thing. It just felt like its own thing when it wasn't, on SmackDown. Yeah, but yeah, I guess to that end, it'd be kind of because there's news. How do you feel about like Liam Ivey being in the going in the Hall of Fame? Was it Rock's grandma going in the Hall of Fame? I'm like, that does seem like that seems like a Rock TKO thing,
possibly. I need to look more into it because I think the only thing I saw was that like she took over a promotion and was like the first female promoter or something like that, which again deserves recognition, sure, but I need to look into it a little bit more to see if like it's actually
at first I thought it was like for giving birth to the Rock family.
Rocky which in turn, it was
give birth to the Rock. Yeah, like is that just for being, mom? Yeah, I was like that's odd. But yeah, no, I guess there's more to it. Yeah, I haven't looked into it either, so I don't know. I can't comment on that.
Yeah, but I guess on the surface, it's like okay, that's interesting that like the Rock has like some power or control, like a relative gets in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
wow, apparently she put together a card, A Hot Summer Night, on August 3rd, 1985, and it had a crowd of 20,000. So
okay, that's pretty, yeah. Look, I'm looking forward to it. I'm keen to be educated. So that's kind of cool.
Cool. All right. Well, should we get into some quick cards for our Arrows draft that we did last week?
And I think JP's coming, but we'll see what
he's coming. Well, I mean, we can start on those, and maybe by the time he gets here, he can get his. So he might be on
I made mine the next day.
I did too, actually.
I didn't do it like the next day. I tweaked it a little bit over the week, and I changed one or two things. But yeah, it was mostly what was in my head for the most part. But yeah, speaking of. Hey, just in time. Hey, buddy. What's going on?
What's up?
Real quick, how do you feel about Roman Reigns inducting Paul Heyman? I'm a little concerned that it could be. There's a twinge of concern that maybe there could be some storyline angles being played. I hope I'm wrong because I want the Hall of Fame to just be like the Hall of Fame.
We did get a little bit of angle last year with the whole Dom and Ray stuff, so it's not really wouldn't be the first,
right, but that was more of just a moment,
Right. Yeah. And if there's a moment here, I guess I wouldn't hate it. But I do agree that in general, I hope it is just simply because Paul loves Roman and they actually truly have a connection and a bond. And it's just simply that. That's all I need. Yeah, I think Hall of Fame should be kind of separate, you know what I mean? I don't think you should have, Cody in the crowd you know what I mean? Like, keep a little kayfabe. Don't have Cody and Seth all happy. But, have them, okay. They don't need to fucking stand up and go, hey, whatever, or start a feud, So, I don't know. I just hope it's just kind of, left alone.
Yeah. All right. Cool. Well, we were just getting into our cards from our Arrows draft last week, so we were just about to start that, JPO, so you're just in time for that, and we can go around and kind of reveal our little dream matches here. So who wants to go first? Any volunteers?
I can go first.
Sure, Jacob. We'll just start with you, and we'll go around the circle. And then JPO.
So I've got 11 matches on my card. I do have a kickoff match for a show that I have dubbed the Multiverse of Madness. That's yeah, I like that. thought of that on the way home tonight. I was like, I'm gonna use that and hope it goes over well. That's how I approach stand-up too. I'm like, I'm gonna use that tonight and hope it goes over well.
Yeah.
Most of the time, I'm wrong, but no. In the kickoff, just one kickoff match. We have the current tag team of the Acclaimed taking on the '90s New Age Outlaws. At one point, yes, the Acclaimed try to scissor Billy Gunn, and he has no idea what they're talking about. So it's just gonna be a fun moment. But yeah, no, that's my kickoff match. And
before he's daddy ass and he's just ass.
He's just so, yeah. There, and I'll put the New Age Outlaws over here, and then kicking off the main card, we're gonna have another tag team match, where the Usos will take on the team, and I believe that was another 2020s. So yeah, the 2020s Usos taking on London and Kendrick of the 2000s. I think this could just be a pretty decent opener. Some pretty fast-paced action. And let's have the Usos go over. We'll have the heels go over this time. Match number 2 is going to see Jushin Liger taking on Kota Ibushi. JPO didn't like that match. I'm sorry. And here I'll have Liger go over. Match number 3 will be the first of two women's matches, where we'll see Asuka take on Toni Storm, Timeless Toni Storm, and this is kind of like NXT Asuka. So I think they could put on a pretty decent match, and we'll have since it's NXT Asuka doesn't lose, so Asuka's going to take the W here. Up next for the Intercontinental title, because I think that both of these men were great Intercontinental champions. One of them is currently the greatest Intercontinental champion. Gunther taking on Razor Ramon. I think this could be a pretty good match, pretty fun match. And we'll have Gunther go over here. Up next, tag team championships are on the line as DIY takes on Motor City Machine Guns in a ladder match, and we'll let the Guns take those titles down. Only one set of titles, not two, as there will be tomorrow night. Tomorrow night, but Saturday night. Up next, the first, I had to do 2 triple threats because I realized if I make one a fatal 4-way, I'm leaving somebody off the card, and I didn't want to do that. So, the first triple threat, we'll see Mr. Perfect taking on Chris Jericho, taking on Sami Zayn. I think those 3 could work a pretty great match together, and we'll have Jericho go over. Heel 2008 Jericho, one of my just favorite characters. So he's going to go over here. Match number 7. It's the 2000s Randy Orton taking on 90s Rock, and this is like kind of early like Legend Killer, almost like before Legend Killer Randy Orton, kind of like the IC title run. Randy Orton and taking on 90s Rock. I was like I was debating, like, is heel versus heel gonna work? I don't care. It's my show.
I think they've only ever kind of gone toe to toe in one match, as far as I remember. The WrestleMania 20 match, remember, it was Evolution versus Rock and Sock. So they've kind of faced off there, but I think that's the only time they've ever been in the ring together.
Well, this would be like a
singles match. Yeah.
Singles match, yeah.
Right. Thank you, Bethany. Appreciate that. Good to see you.
I should talk about that last stream. I was sexy good acre. You like the Beatles?
Yeah.
So we'll put The Rock over here. Up next, the second women's match of the night. Gail Kim taking on Charlotte Flair. I think those 2 could work a pretty decent match as well. And we'll have Gail Kim go over in kind of an upset. Number 9, the just before the main event, I realized this is where I realized, oh, I don't have John Cena on the card yet. I need to put John Cena on the card. So I took Jay White out of the Fatal 4-Way, put him here. So yeah, it's a kind of a 2010s like open challenge. John Cena taking on current Jay White. I think they could work a pretty decent match before getting to the main event. And I'll put Jay White over. So Jay White's going to get the victory. And up next for the World Championship, we're going to have Kurt Angle, and this is 2000s Kurt Angle, versus current Bryan Danielson versus 90s Bret Hart in an elimination submission match. So I think these three, just the technical wrestling ability of these three. You can put Kurt Danielson in there for a little bit, Kurt and Brett and Danielson, and any combination.
The match ends when Kurt Angle just freaks out, hits everybody with chairs, and puts everybody in the ankle lock, and he wins.
Exactly.
Since there's no
because it's a triple threat, no disqualification.
Right.
My referees know that there's no disqualification in triple threat matches. But yes, I would put Kurt Angle over here. So Kurt Angle.
I mean, I've been here the whole time. It's gotcha. She's freaking out. She's freaking out, JPL. You got to stay on stream. You're fading in and out of the space time.
I can't. I've been good for the last 30 seconds. Let's see if I can last.
Yeah, right.
All right. Well, that's my card.
She's worried about you, brother. She's worried about you. You know what I'm saying? She's just being concerned.
So your referee won't try to stop the match like the one on Hogan and Vince. Like, no, you can't hit the guy with the pipe when it's legal.
Yeah,
exactly.
You can't use weapons in a street fight. How dare you?
Right.
Yeah. All right.
But
there you go. No, good shit. I like it.
I think this might be like the best card I've put together, other than that T, because I think that TNA was like, well, I forgot to put Nigel McGuinness somewhere.
Yeah.
So, and ICP was in the main event.
Oh yeah, that's right. They're like, what is this? WCW Saturday Night? ICP in the main event? What the fuck? All right, Richie, what you got for us, my man?
Just also distracted by my dog eating the post from my bed. I'm definitely.
Your dog's always getting into mischief in the background. What's going on?
I know. She's going for a walk soon. All right, here we go. We're going to start things off with Amazing Red versus Rey Mysterio. That match is going to quite a banger. And then we are going to, and then after that, you know what? We're in the era of slap and meat. Good old meat, and why not have Powerhouse Hobbs, who's part of that, and versus Lex Luger. I think that we could have a good chop fest. I think that would work.
You got to get like 1990 Lex Luger for your 90s Lex Luger, not like 98 or 99 Lex Luger.
Yeah. It'll be kind of still motivated Lex Luger.
Not Lex Luger when he's insisting everybody just call him the total package. Remember that?
Yeah.
And awkwardly on the announcers were all like the total package with a suplex. It's just really weird.
It's just like No, the motivated Lex Luger.
Yes.
And look. This one might be a cheat, but I didn't know where else to put them because I think they're both in the same
area. It happens.
So you got next one. You got Beer Money versus the Wyatt family. I think they could have a good match. Get a good story there. Good storytelling.
I guess Jacob will allow it if they've never actually had a match together. So sure. Maybe one exception, but yeah.
And then we got a triple threat type X Division match for the different eras. We got Kenosuke Takeshita, Chris Daniels, and Flying Brian Pillman. Yeah. Follow that up with another triple threat match of eras with Sasha Banks versus Lita versus Tiffany Stratton. And this one, because I feel like they'd have a good program and there'll be good fun on the mic as well. DDP versus LA Knight.
Yeah.
And a lot of triple threat matches on the card, but another triple threat of errors. The Dudley Boys versus Harlem Heat versus Red Dragon. Fish and O'Reilly. See ya.
Oh my goodness.
And I think this would have been a great feud back in the day. Like I could see if he was in the company when like he was still active, I could see this happening. Triple H versus MJF. I think that would have actually been a good feud here. So yeah. And the next match on the card, I could actually see happening technically, but like it's still battles on two different eras. Because I chose 2010, but the co-main, if you will. Even though I hate that term.
Co-main? I thought you hate that shit. No, you're semi-main. Get out of here with that.
Semi-main, Swerve Strickland versus Okada. So yeah, I feel like that match is going to happen.
That match might happen in 2024.
That's probably going to happen. It's probably going to headline pay-per-view at some point. And the
okay. He wasn't ready last time, so okay, sorry.
The last time with my headphones. I was ready.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay.
We'll see if I'm ready in like 2 minutes.
Sure. All right. And then your main event, a good old-fashioned street fight between Stone Cold Steve Austin and Samoa Joe. There is my card.
All right.
And what that was. What era is Samoa Joe again?
2000s, right?
2000.
Yeah, okay.
And 90s Stone Cold, right? Yeah.
So
there you go.
Studying Steve.
2020 something.
No, early 90s.
No, ECW Steve Austin.
Yeah.
The Ringmaster.
Yeah.
Yeah, Stun Guns.
Bang McFrost.
Yeah, the $1 million champion. That's right. All right. Well, JPO, do you think you will hold out enough to give us your card real quick? Breeze through that. Do your best.
We'll find out here soon. Yeah, we got an 11-match card here for you, and I'll breeze through it here. The opener, from one of the greatest openers of all time, Owen Hart will take on Adam Cole. Get it? It's an Owen Hart Cup winner versus Owen Hart. And that'd be a fantastic opener.
I like that match.
Hell yeah. Owen Hart, I'll give the W to him. Then we go from another one, two matches. I think just the promos would be fantastic here. The story. Let's go with two of the best characters from the last, I'd say, decade plus. Bray Wyatt versus Darby Allin. I think these two would have had a fantastic match here. Kind of two worlds that never got to collide and may never have even, in our dreams. We'll give it a Bray, of course, as well. Then how about this tag team match here? Another one that they could have been great if, again, years were different. Four Horsemen, Ric Flair and Arn Anderson versus Cody and Dustin. Cody obviously has a connection with Arn Anderson here. Let's see what they would have done if they fought each other. And I think Cody and Dustin versus Rick and Arn in their prime would have been pretty freaking dope. We'll give it the Horsemen. They're going to cheat to win.
With JJ out there doing some dirty deeds.
Yeah. Let's get some JJ out there. Yeah. Kind of a cruiserweight triple threat match here. X-Pac, Jay Lethal, and Ray Phoenix here. These things just have a fun, quick triple threat match. We'll give it to my boy Jay, who, yes, is Black Machismo in my mind in this match. Nigel McGuinness versus Josh Alexander. Just two fantastic wrestlers here. Josh Alexander having some match of the year candidates over in TNA. Nigel, in this point in this decade, having match of the year candidates over in Ring of Honor. These two would have had a fantastic match here. I'll give it to Nigel. Then how about this one? This is a match that actually could be a dream match if the Forbidden Door was truly open. Seth Rollins versus Orange Cassidy I have on here. 10's Rollins, 20's Cassidy. I think these two would have a great match. I'll give it to Seth. Then the match that should have happened at Mania but didn't because we wanted Triple H to have a big match. Undertaker versus Sting. Undertaker versus Sting I'll finally give to you. And I could go either way with this one here. We'll go with the dead.
Gotta make sure you save 15 minutes for the entrances for both guys in that matchup.
See, we'll have big entrances here. Yes, Taker. Yeah. This is definitely a 2-night event, probably.
Just for the entrances. Oh man,
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Night 2 already. They haven't
night 1 is
the ring.
Night 1's the entrances. Night 2 is the match.
That is the match.
Then we got a notice publication. Street fight match, if you will. CM Punk versus Cactus Jack, another one that I think will deliver on both promos and the match itself here. So CM Punk and Cactus Jack will go to battle with Cactus Jack irking it out. The women's match here, I got Rhea Ripley, Mommy versus my original mommy, Mickie James. These two will have some great matches here. Mickie James kind of the MVP, I think, of the 2000s to a degree. So
maybe a match we could see soon.
That could still happen.
Not a match that's totally off the cusp here. Mickie James kind of in that Gail Kim semi-retirement mode, but still not out of the realm of possibilities. Then I'm going to give you a TLC match. You got to love some TLC at Mania. I got the Hardys, but I got two other teams that have never competed in a traditional WWE TLC. Briscoe Brothers, Astol, and the Young Bucks. So I think these six men will put on one hell of a TLC match. And we'll give it to them boys in a Jay and Mark. And then finally another match that I kind of hoped was going to happen a couple years ago. But instead, we got that Crown Jewel tag match. Shawn Michaels and AJ Styles is the match people were hoping. Maybe Shawn could come back for one more. And again, just literally predict 90s or 2000s Shawn versus, AJ Styles from the mid-2000s till now. Oh, mouth watering. But Shawn's my favorite of all time, so Shawn will get the W. I think that's one hell of a card.
Yeah.
Nice.
All right, nice. And to cap it all off, this is mine. I got 10 matches for you here tonight. So a nice tight 10-match card. As tight as you can get, really, with as many people as we drafted. 10 is about as low as you can go. But we're going to start out with 2010's Ricochet taking on 90's Dean Malenko. So sort of channeling that Rey Mysterio, Dean Malenko thing, just with a more modern high flyer. Give Ricochet the win with the 630 on that one. But both those guys should throw down. Be really good stuff. I'll have a little meat madness myself, as I'm going to have 2000's A-Train taking on 2010's Keith Lee. Two guys that can both move a little bit and beat each other up, and give A-Train the win with the bicycle kick on this one.
He's going to slap the hair off his back.
He sure is. Goddamn. But yeah, I'm a big fan of A-Train. I love him. Going to some tag team action here, kind of traditional tag team action. 2020's current day FTR taking on 2000's Edge and Christian. I think these guys would have a really great, just sort of old school, just back and forth tag team match.
Another match we could kind of see, maybe.
You kind of could now, yeah. I mean, realistically, but I drafted old school Edge and Christian, so but yeah, you kind of potentially could see this match in the future if it could happen. But yeah, FTR will go.
I'm going to say we will get it. By the way, I do predict at some point.
At least before they retire. Yeah.
I mean, I think Edge is pretty good friends with FTR, so.
Yeah. No,
he loves FTR.
Yeah.
No, he's saying their praises on this podcast a couple times. Like, I'm
pretty sure they
see this actually happening.
Yeah, right.
I'm pretty sure they live near each other, so yeah.
Yeah, because I forget who it was, but when they were doing that whole. Oh no, it was Seth. When Seth went to Edge's house, Edge used their real names on the phone. Like, hey, they're coming to the house. Like, don't go home. So yeah.
So FTR over with the Shadow Machine and that one, and a really good match. My number 4 is a fatal 4-way match. A little showcase here. We got 2010 Speedball Mike Bailey taking on 90's Ricky Steamboat versus 2000's Ultimo Dragon versus 2020's Zack Sabre Jr. So I got a guy from each era just tearing it up, and lots of great dives and submissions and great wrestling in there with Steamboat as well. And I think Zack Sabre will steal a win with a submission maybe on Mike Bailey in that one, and kind of steal it out from everybody in his current dastardly ways. Going to number 5, sort of a meat madness, but in a smaller variety to a degree. But I got 2020's Dijak taking on 2000's Low Key. So the bigger Dijak having to deal with the very feisty kicky, low key, and kick the shit out of him. So, but I'll have Dijak overpower him with the Feast Your Eyes. And then number 6 is a match that I did my research and never actually happened, even though I think it could have at one point or another. 2000's RVD taking on 2010's Kevin Steen. As far as I can tell, these guys have never actually had a match against each other in any iteration. So, Kevin Owens, Kevin Steen, anything like that. So, these guys I think could have a really, really fun match here. I'll have Kevin Steen go over on that one. And then number 7, I'm proud of myself for this one. I've got 90s Steiner brothers teaming with, coming back from the future, son and nephew Braun Breaker. So the whole Steiner family taking on the 2020s conglomerate of Kenny Omega and the Kings of Wrestling. I think this would be a fucking great match between all these guys. Because, Braun and Kenny could just run all over the place. The Kings of Wrestling, the Steiners could just beat the shit out of each other and suplex each other everywhere. And it would be a lot of fun. And I'll have old Scotty Steiner go over with the Steiner screwdriver on Kenny Omega. So, those guys I think would have a great 6-man tag team matchup. Number 8 will be Intensity Overdrive, as we have 90s Chris Benoit taking on 2020's Ilya Dragunov. Holy shit, with these guys be intense to the 10th degree, and these guys would beat the ever-loving shit out of each other, and it would be pretty amazing, I think, if you put these guys together. So I want, like, mullet Benoit versus current Ilya Dragunov. And then I will have Benoit win with the crossface, but Ilya doesn't tap out. He just passes out because he don't give up. He just passes out from the pain and doesn't tap. So there you go. Your semi-main event of the evening will be 90s Kenta Kobashi taking on 2000's Brock Lesnar. I think these guys could have a hell of a wrestling match. Very hard hitting. When Kenta Kobashi could still kind of move and do his stuff. He still do moonsaults and crazy stuff and whatnot. And Kenta Kobashi will pull out the move he only pulled out every now and then, the dreaded burning hammer, and put down Brock Lesnar in that one. And then your main event of the evening will be current day 2020's Will Ospreay versus 90s Eddie Guerrero. Maybe two of the greatest wrestlers ever in their eras. Maybe the current one of the best wrestlers currently versus, I think 90s Eddie Guerrero may have been, like, for a couple of years, the greatest wrestler on the planet. So you put these guys against each other and they will have a great mix of wrestling and high flying and grounded stuff. And it would be a hell of a main event. So, and I'll have Ospreay over just barely with the Stormbreaker. So, but yeah, that would be a freaking awesome dream match right there. So there you go. All right. Pretty proud of that card. I think that card would be the shit. So
I like all of them.
Yeah, all these cards are good. I like it.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd buy that for $1.
I'd subscribe to Triller for 7 days for that.
For $7.99 for yeah. All right. What shall we get into now? Shall we get into a little WrestleMania 19 before we cap it off the end of the night with predictions near the end?
That makes sense.
That way JPO can prep all of his graphics and whatnot and have those ready to go
for later. Ready.
He's got him ready. Of course he does. He's the prediction man. He's the man with the plan. But yeah, we'll go ahead and get this going here. Yeah, we picked WrestleMania 19, I think, because it's a favorite kind of all of ours, and we wanted to kind of showcase it. A lot to talk about on this show, but a really, really fun show, pretty breezy one, as we'll get into it. I even took some I took some extra notes on a couple of participants for tonight and some of their backgrounds. We'll get to them in a little bit. But we do have WrestleMania 19 from Safeco Field, the baseball stadium in Seattle, Washington.
It's no longer called Safeco Field.
What's it called now, Jacob? I did not look at it.
T-Mobile
Park. It's always some phone carrier.
It's always some business
or bank or something. Yeah, some business, whatever.
The one in Fort Myers is now Hertz Arena to the fucking
Yeah, it's always something like that. But so 54,000 plus here at Safeco Field, March 30th, 2003, here for WrestleMania 19. Pretty good crowd. Crowd was into most of the stuff here on the show. And we kick things off pretty much right away. And we get right into it as we've got Rey Mysterio in his Daredevil gear, taking which, remember, this is 2003, so it was, timely at the time for old Affleck. So Rey Mysterio taking on the champion, Cruiserweight champion, Matt Hardy, version 1 with Shannon Moore, the sensei of Mattitude here. And they get right into it. Matt tries to bum rush Rey. Right out the start, he gets dumped over the top rope, and Rey does a big corkscrew plancha to take out both Matt and his little protege, Shannon Moore. Rey quickly goes up top and gets a little leg scissors and a spinning heel kick to take control. He tries a sunset flip over the apron on the outside, but Shannon cuts him off with a cheap shot. Matt drops him on the barricade and throws him back in. It's a big side slam out of the corner on Rey, kind of chokes him on the ropes. These guys, by the way, it's like a 5-minute match. They're going 100 miles an hour.
Yeah, I know.
They do not stop at all.
Did you get your time cut before we went out the curtain? Like, what the fuck?
I don't know what happened. Yeah, these first like 4 or 5 matches, like everybody's just going so fast because I think they're just saving the time for later. I think so. They all just got their time cut. We'll talk about it. But yeah, they're going 100 miles an hour. I had to hit the pause button multiple times just to get shit written down. Matt misses hitting Rey on the ropes, and Rey rolls him up and only gets a 2 count. Matt Hardy comes back with a big side effect out of the corner for a 2 count. Matt puts a submission on Rey, chops him in the corner. He goes for a spear in the corner, but Rey moves, and Matt hits his shoulder. There's a big sit-out senton springboard from Rey, and then he hits another big crossbody for 2. Big tilt-a-whirl Rana in the middle of the ring, followed up by a tornado DDT, and once again gets a 2 count. Can't keep Rey down. He sets up for the 619, but Shannon trips him before he can get that 619, and Matt hits a quick twist of fate, but he only gets 2 as Rey kicks out of the twist of fate. Rey gets set up on the turnbuckle. Matt goes for a big splash mountain slam, but Rey counters it into his big Rana off the top rope, but Shannon Moore puts Matt's foot on the ropes to break the count as Matt can't kick out of that. Matt accidentally hits Shannon off the apron after that and finally gets hit with the 619 by Rey. But Matt ducks the West Coast pop, and then he rolls up Rey and grabs the bottom rope, rolling him up real tight against the ropes, and steals the win for the 3 count. That dastardly Matt Hardy version 1, stealing one from Rey Mysterio, because God forbid in Rey's first WrestleMania we give him a win, because that we can't have that happening. Weird booking decisions here tonight. We'll talk about that. What'd you guys think about this one? Yeah, these guys were going 1,000,000 miles an hour. It was super fast, like 5.5 minutes. Fun for what it was, but yeah, it kind of felt like they didn't get much time here. But Jacob, what'd you think of this opener here?
Yeah, I thought it was fun. I kind of wish they were given a little bit more time, considering I think like 5 of the matches got like what felt like 20
you know what
minutes.
it felt like? It felt like a 10-minute match squashed into 5 minutes is what it felt like.
Yeah. Maybe cut the other Limp Bizkit performance or something. Not that I just liked them. I liked them. I thought they were good, but like,
did we need them to perform Crack Addict? We hear it throughout the show and in the video packages, both of them.
But yeah, I mean, I dug it for the most part. I think there was a little too much interference for me personally, but I think the action in the ring was still really solid, and I think this was a fun way to open the show.
Yeah. Richie?
Yeah, I thought it was really good, but yeah, like it's very obviously fast-paced, so yeah, very kind of obviously had a time limit, but yeah, it would have been good if they were given more time. I did find 2 things I found funny. Taz kept calling Shannon Moore Banana Juice Boy. I don't know why. But I remember. But yeah, I did like this gimmick back in the day. I just they made a big thing about how like Matt Hardy had to cut down weight to make the cruiserweight limit of like 220 at the time, which is fun. I find funny because in like 2018, Buddy Matthews was cruiserweight champion. To get, and he was like it was 205, and he's significantly bigger than Matt Hardy is there. So it's quite fun. Even Trent Seven went for the cruiserweight title at some point in NXT UK. That is, and apparently he cut down to 05. I still don't believe he did that, but it's good. It's a good match here. But yeah, I can't even remember who who Matt Hardy ultimately lost to. I think he dropped it to Billy Kidman, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, I don't know. I probably would have had Ray win, but yeah, like that's probably maybe the downfall of this WrestleMania is just the booking decisions. But like, yeah, this match is pretty good. You know, I think it makes sense to open with a cruiserweight match.
Yeah, no, totally. JPO, any quick thoughts on this opener here?
Yeah, I've always dug this match here. Yeah, it's funny. It wasn't until this viewing that I kind of realized like how short this was. Like if you had asked me before this rewatch, I would have been like, oh, probably a solid like 10, 11-minute match.
Nope.
Because they're obviously trying to cram a lot in, and they do pretty well. I think this is still a really fun opener. Yeah, I wish they had given at least 3 to 5 minutes more to this match, if not 7-8 minutes more. But yeah, no, I really liked it. I don't mind Matt winning just because I love V1. Also our first shot of the like you said, Ray's first Mania, so his first kind of crazy Mania get up as well. I still dig. So yeah, this is a lot of fun. Yeah, but yeah, too short, but a lot of fun.
Yeah. I should mention, literally about 5 seconds after Matt got the win, it was to the back immediately, almost like the old Vince Russo shows we reviewed. It's immediately to the back because we have to make sure we catch the arrival and the limo of the Miller Lite Catfight girls, Tanya.
I had no memory of this at all. I'm like, what the fuck is
this? I didn't remember this either.
I try to fight sometimes that this is the best Mania. After rewatching segments like this, I'm like, oh, this one's not the best Mania.
I don't know what won the Oscars this year, but I feel like that the Miller Lite girls should have been in the running. Really, just
we'll talk about the actual segment later where they argue because I thought I was laughing hysterically.
Yeah,
they're back and forth. I did some research on the two girls as well as far as what they've been up to since then. I'll get to that when we get to the back and forth segment because this was just kind of them getting out of the limo and like
bated breath.
So, well, I mean, there is some movie connections and some Dwayne Johnson connections. So I'll get to that very soon. So I'll tease you with that, and we'll get to that when they actually get to their back and forth with Tori and Stacy. So we get a little quick recap of Sunday Night Heat where Nathan Jones was laid out in the locker room, probably actually by Vince McMahon when he realized that he booked Nathan Jones in a WrestleMania match and realized his horrible error. And so they filmed an angle where he was not going to be a part of this match. But yeah, supposedly, the Big Show had a weird thing with the FBI around this time where they were all like working together for different purposes. But anyways, yeah, so Nathan Jones laid out.
Can I make a funny claim on this segment, by the way?
Yeah.
The last shot of when they show in the back is like the chair is perfectly still on top of him. You can tell how set up that is. If they hit him in the chair, that's not how it would have ended. Unless they like ended with a shot on the bottom, but like still the chair would have fallen off. It's just so perfectly like overly thought of, like, oh, we got to end with the chair on him so perfectly.
It's like anytime also people would be laid out and they would be laid like really stiff long ways, you know, and not ever like, you know, just like flayed out, just be like really stiff, like they just locked up and fell on the ground.
It's funny overthought,
yeah.
It's one of the few backstage segment things where people get laid out where they don't use those, you know, how they like to use those pipe things that make a lot of noise. Like
clang, clang, clang. Right. So anyways, it looks like it's going to be a handicap match as Undertaker's going to have to go it alone against the Big Show and A-Train. But first, we have to have Limp Bizkit play out the Undertaker to Rollin' live with Fred Durst himself and the rest of the band. He's got backup dancers on the stage. They've got like the kid from the video doing the little robot dancing or whatever from the music video, if anybody remembers that from the actual Rollin' video. So yeah, they literally play like almost the entire song before Undertaker even begins to come out. Like it's
this is not a sampling. This is the song.
No, they played the whole song, and then they just repeat the chorus over and over again as Undertaker rolls out.
Yes, if you're gonna pay for them, money's worth.
Why not? Yeah, get your money's worth. Yeah, sure. I mean, they get their money's worth out of Limp Bizkit on the show, that's for sure. But yeah,
funny enough, this will not be the only time this month that we talk about Limp Bizkit on the Movie Hero Network. We may talk about them next week.
Yeah. No, totally. By the way, they mentioned multiple times that Limp Bizkit is WWE's favorite band. Is that true? I don't know.
Maybe in 2003. Right now, it's The Weeknd. It's not even a band.
The Weeknd.
2010s, it was Flow Rider.
It for a while felt like it was Motorhead with all the songs that they were doing for WWE and Triple H and Evolution. So yeah, maybe it fluctuates, but at this time, Limp Bizkit was WWE's favorite band. So anyways, he makes his way out to the ring on his motorcycle and whatnot. I also wrote Fred Durst as he is making his way down the ring, flicks off the crowd multiple times. Always good to get babyface heat, I guess. Okay. Anyways, Taker avoids an initial ambush from both guys. He ducks a bicycle kick, but immediately choke slams the A-Train, and then can't get the quick 3 count as he's trying to get a quick win here against these two guys. Big Show cuts him off with that cover, but Taker is quickly firing up with big strikes lefts and rights to the Big Show. He fights both guys in the corner, taking the fight to them. Not a bad strategy to kind of take the fight to both of these guys. He hits the Old School on the Big Show, cuts him off in the corner, but A-Train comes right in and cuts him off with a big Albert bomb right out of the gate, and then Show runs Undertaker into the post on the outside, so they start to kind of take over on Taker here on the dead man. Taker gets dumped on the barricade on the outside. Inside the ring, A-Train hits the decapitator on a ropes for 2. Tags in Big Show. There's strikes to both these guys. Taker tries to fight back. He tries to choke slam the Big Show, but they work an arm submission on him. Big Show hits a big leg drop. There's a lot of leg drops on the show, maybe because Hogan was on there. Everybody was hitting leg drops left and right on the show. It was real weird, all over the place, just like regular leg drops. Some headbutts to the Undertaker from the Big Show, and then they each trade abdominal stretches, the dreaded abdominal stretches. He puts one on the Big Show. Big Show reverses on him. A-Train tags in, puts another abdominal stretch on.
AKA, I need a rest. Let's just do this.
Yeah, let's just slow down for just a second while I catch my breath before the finale here. So yes, they're trading abdominal stretches here. But Taker fights back with a big back suplex as he desperately needs to come back here. Hits a big lariat on the A-Train, but Show cheap shots him to kind of cut him back off. But Taker fights back with big lefts and rights. He hits a huge leaping DDT on the A-Train as both men are down. He starts to fight off the Big Show again, and he throws both guys into corners and starts hitting running avalanche splashes to both of them, just back and forth, about 3 of them. Hits a big boot to the A-Train, does a big leaping clothesline to the Big Show, but A-Train cuts him off with a huge bicycle kick, hitting it this time. And then Big Show choke slams the Undertaker, but they are both distracted as Nathan Jones, who was laid out in the back, makes his way down the ramp. Big Show goes to cut him off. Nathan Jones ducks a clothesline and hits a huge roundhouse kick and knocks out the Big Show on the ramp. Crowd actually popped for it. It looked pretty damn good. Give him credit where credit's due. Big one. And then he jumps into the ring, and I guess because he was originally part of the match, it's not a DQ because he hits a big boot to the A-Train. I guess the referee allowed it because he was initially supposed to be part of the match, but he big boots the A-Train, and then Taker picks up A-Train and hits a tombstone to get the 3 count as Undertaker goes 11-0 at WrestleMania, overcoming the odds here with a little help from his tag team partner. JPL, what'd you think about this sort of a meat madness match? 3 big guys here with a 4th one coming back in, but yeah, some big hosses in here. What'd you think?
I mean, yeah, this one was all right. We definitely have seen Taker have this probably his worst match of the last set, because then from here on, he would have nothing but bangers. I feel after this one here. Well, no, that's not true. But still, we've seen worse from Taker. We'll see some better here. This is fine. I mean, they kind of pigeonholed themselves into booking Nathan Jones, taking him out, but definitely for the betterment of the match here. That way, Jones would just come in and do 2-3 things at the end. Yeah, this is all right. I mean, it's kind of from what I remember, just being fine. All 3 are capable here, but nothing special.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, it sort of pains me. Because obviously as a country member, it pains me that Nathan Jones is not that good. But yeah, you'd think, hopefully, if they signed him, you'd think that they would know that prior to that and not put him in a big time position. And maybe this match would be better if they had a tag partner that could work. But because at times this match was slowed way down, like you mentioned, stretches. But yeah, so yeah, it's not his best. You kind of, and you got the impression that at some point that Nathan Jones would come out. Yeah, give him credit. That spin kick ruled. I've always liked Undertaker's leaping DDT. I always loved doing that on the SmackDown games. Yeah. I used to spam that move all the time. So yeah, no, it's no. This was.
But by the way, speaking of the SmackDown games, Fred Durst, a playable character around this time in one of those SmackDown games. If anybody remembers,
I feel like that might have been.
He's a Raw and SmackDown game, I think.
Yeah.
I feel like this might have been a deal that they probably put together in order for them to be at WrestleMania or something. But yeah, like and Rolling's a decent, Roland was is a decent song. Them live was okay. They
Chocolate Starfish and Hot Dog Flavored Water is just a great album in general.
It's a great album. But he missed out a couple. I mean, not obviously not the swearing, but he missed out. He did miss like the. He I don't know why, but he when they go back up, he never actually says that. He just says that. I don't know why. He just missed out those lyrics.
He's catching his breath. There's a lot of songs that, like, when you'll catch little things where like, oh, they don't do that live, do they?
Yeah. So I don't know. It was all right. So no, this match was fine. It wasn't bad. There was only nothing really too bad on the show other than what we'll get to later.
Yeah, for sure, Jacob.
Yeah, this might be the one part, like, actual match on the show that I'm just kind of like, whatever on. And this is my biggest gripe of the show because this is announced now as a handicap match, right?
Mm-hmm.
So Nathan Jones is not an actual participant in the match. So why is this not a DQ? That kind of bugs me. It bugged me then. It bugs me now. I guess, obviously you got to keep the streak going, but I don't know if they were even thinking about the streak at the time, even though they did mention, I think they do mention that.
Yeah, but at the same time, how many times have they done these handicap matches and the original tag team partner gets laid out, jumps up on the apron, and gets the tag?
Oh, that's true. It bugs me then. It bugs me now. It bugs me every time it happens.
I have a weird qualm on top of that qualm. So here's the thing. I see what Pez is saying. I agree with that, where it's like, it was a tag. They announced it as a handicap because they figured Nathan Jones would be out. But because it was built as a tag, it's fine. It's kind of a mea culpa. Like, oh, okay, it's back to what we had thought it would be. So it's not like it's set in stone in a weird way. Kind of a loophole that it's a handicap. What I don't like is some people still refer to this match as a handicap match. It's not. As far as the record books go, Nathan Jones is 1-0 in Mania. Like, this ends up being a tag match.
Sure.
Don't mention mea culpa. That made me sucks.
I saw the tier ranker Peasant Barber.
Yeah, it's not a good movie.
But why?
Why? Yeah. No, I thought this was all right. Again, I thought Undertaker gave a good performance here. Like, he really carried it, and I like A-Train. Big Show did his part. There's the abdominal stretches in the middle, but again, just to catch the breath real quick. And I thought they had a good finishing sequence. So I didn't think it was bad. I thought it was fine. For what it was. I've seen way worse matches than this, so I thought it was perfectly fine. We go backstage where the Miller Lite Catfight girls run into Stacy Keibler and Tori Wilson. Tori is reading off and reading and showing off her own Playboy magazine to Stacy. Interesting. And reading, I'm sure she's reading the articles that are included in her own Playboy.
Hey, if you got it, on it.
Sure. So they kind of just run into each other and say hello and whatnot. We'll rejoin these girls later for their best segment, but they just kind of meet here. Speaking of women and the ladies, we go to our third matchup, as it is a triple threat match for the women's championship. It's Trish Stratus taking on Victoria, taking on Jazz. Victoria's with Steven Richards as well. I wrote, Trish looks absolutely smoking fucking hot in her outfit. Jesus Christ. This, silver sort of, skirt tights thing that she's wearing, whatever it is, looks incredible. This is like peak Trish Stratus here. Looking great. But yeah, we got three good wrestlers here. So start things off hot as Jazz lays out both the women, trying to get the early advantage. She hits a big drop kick. She does kind of a camel clutch choke to Trish here. There's a Thez press from Trish and starts hitting some forearms and some ground and pound. Trish gets pulled off the apron, though, and laid out as Victoria jumps back in the ring. There's a little brawl on the outside. Back on the inside, Victoria hits a flipping leg drop over the ropes for a 2 count on Trish. Jazz comes in and hits again a standard leg drop to Trish. Another match with another leg drop. Everybody kind of did one. I think Shelton Benjamin does one in the tag match. Everybody just hitting leg drops all over the place.
Vince McMahon. We'll get to it.
Yeah, I know. So leg drops just all over the damn place on this show. They both start kind of tag teaming on Trish here. There's a big shoulder breaker. Victoria hits a big power slam on Jazz and then starts giving her shoulder thrust in the corner. Trish tries to fight back with a bridging pin, but only gets a 2 count. She hits a big kick and a clothesline, but Jazz cuts her off right after that and hits a big sit-out slam for 2. There's a double Naga knocker from Trish to both Jazz and Victoria, and she starts hitting forearms kind of back and forth with them, trying to really fight off a 2-on-1 situation here. But Jazz hits a huge wheel kick on Victoria and lays her out. There's a victory roll to Jazz from Trish for a 2 count. There's a chick kick for a 2 count on Jazz. Victoria jumps up to the top, and Trish does her little handstand, pull off Hurricane Rana to Victoria. And then Victoria gets kicked through the ropes to the floor as they're trying to kind of keep her out of this match. Jazz puts a half Boston Crab on Trish. And then Steven Richards tosses Jazz out of the ring behind the ref's back. There's an STF, but there's no tap out. There's a series of roll-ups kind of back and forth between Jazz and Trish. There's a big clothesline. Jazz does a great spot where she kind of picks up Trish kind of behind her, like hooks her arms and pulls her up almost into like a chicken wing. It looked pretty damn impressive. Jazz is a very big, strong lady. And then slams her down right on her face. There's a side kick from Victoria to Jazz. She kind of enters back in the match. She misses a top rope moonsault on Jazz as she rolls out of the way. And then Jazz gets tossed over the ropes. Steven Richards tries to interfere with a chair and does the classic misses. He hits the ropes and knocks back into his own stupid head as JR and King both make fun of how much of an idiot he is. And then Trish actually hits a Stratisfaction on Steven Richards just to cap it all off. Victoria tries for the Widow's Peak on Trish but can't get it. And then Trish reverses and hits another chick kick onto Victoria and gets the 3 count. And we have a new women's champion, Trish Stratus, here at WrestleMania. So yeah, I thought this was a pretty good match, pretty intense. You got 3 pretty good workers. Again, they're going very, very fast. They got like 6-7 minutes here. They're trying to get all their spots in, but pretty entertaining overall. Jacob, what do you think of this women's match here?
Yeah, I really liked it. Like you said, pretty fast paced. I think all 3 of these women are really good workers. I think Trish is still a really good worker. I wonder if they're planning on using her again. But I really like this match. A step up from the tag team handicap match we just got. I really dig this. I think this might be up until recently, like this was one of the better women's matches at a Mania. So yeah, really solid stuff here.
Yeah, Richie, I think this one.
Yeah, I really liked it. And I think, I feel like Trish sort of led the way as far as like, women's, and kind of like women's wrestling, kind of being taken seriously when in a sense of like, like she can work and like, I'm glad like she was paired with people who could also actually work and there wasn't that one person that sticks out like a sore thumb kind of thing. But yeah, and I think I've always thought Jazz is underrated. I thought there might be a possibility that she gets inducted this year just because they're in Philadelphia and that connection. But I think she might do eventually. But yeah, no, it's really good. I've always liked Victoria and Steve Richards as like a duo. I think they match pretty well and they've got good chemistry. I'm always going to be annoyed at the WWE stock music.
You could hear a little bit of the Real Tattoo music in the background on the network on this one. It was weird. Like if you listen closely, you could kind of hear it when JR and them were talking. Like it was the sound mix didn't quite cut it all out. You could hear it.
Yeah. But it's not the most infuriating. We'll get to that later.
We'll get to it.
But yeah, the match is pretty good, and I forget that she sometimes just matches the chick kick. I even just used the word when you're in the Strat fashion, but it's cool. That's it's cool when people win with different moves sometimes. Yeah, no, it was a pretty good match. Yeah,
yeah. JPO, any quick thoughts on the women's triple threat here?
Yeah, not much more crazy to add. Yeah, this is decent here. I think all three put in a good job. In fact, Jacob was saying, what is the 2002 women's match? Is this not the best women's match so far, like in Mania history? What do you think?
18, I think, was I think it was Trish, Jazz, and Lita, maybe, or Jazz.
It was just Trish and Jazz.
I mean, it might have been just Trish and Jazz.
Anyone remember? I don't know. I was just saying. I was off the top of my mind. I was like, this might be the best one so far.
It's definitely not China and Ivory. We're trying to just squash Ivory for like 3 minutes.
That's what I'm saying. That's considered the best Mania. That's probably the dud on that Mania, unfortunately. But this is not the dud on this Mania. So yeah,
No.
And it's not even way past the dud. It's actually pretty
Jazz, Trish, and Lita. With Jazz winning.
Okay.
As far as
they had to follow the Rock and Hogan. Oh geez.
Yeah.
That's a bad spot, but I'm curious to see what that one's rated. But I have to go back and rewatch that one. But we're getting finally into the good era of women's wrestling. Kind of is what I'm saying here. Is that these are all three good wrestlers. You know what I mean? They're here. Trish started off as just kind of a model, but like put in the work, and Jazz and Victoria put in the work as well. They were just all three really good wrestlers.
Yeah, we get Molly Holly pretty soon stepping up and becoming a big part of the division. She's great. Yeah, so you definitely really solid division.
A couple years away. Yeah,
Gail Kim's not far off. Yeah, you had a really solid division here around this time with all those ladies. So
are you saying that this is better than the classic Terry Runnels versus the Cat?
How dare you, Richie?
No, how dare you?
Dare you?
We're just gonna move on and listen. We'll get the women's exploitation here in a little bit. We're not there yet. we'll get to the segment you would never have today in a little bit. So, anyways, we go backstage as Coach is with The Rock. We should say Hollywood Rock. Weird coincidence that a little over 20 years later we're back to Hollywood Rock again and doing his heel thing as we're getting kind of a little bit of the tail end of it here with his little run as Hollywood Rock. He would go on to have it a little bit more with the Goldberg and whatnot before he'd head off to the movies again. But yeah, so he's doing a little thing with the Coach here, just talking about how he doesn't really care about the fans anymore. The same people who booed The Rock. He asked, people say I sold out. Yeah, you're damn right. I sold out every WrestleMania Rock's ever been to. He could care less about the people. He has one mission tonight, and that's to fulfill his destiny to finally beat Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania. It's the one thing he hasn't done, and he makes a little movie analogy as he says, people don't remember Act 1 and Act 2. They just remember Act 3, and that's all that really matters. I disagree with that assessment, but okay. Okay, Rock. I feel like there's been some pretty good Act 1 and Act 2s in movies.
And if Act 3 is the best part of the movie, it still not, it still doesn't make it a great movie.
I had some movies where Act 1 was the best part of the movie and Act 3 kind of sucked. I've seen movies like that too. So
yeah, I watched Immaculate.
That actually happens a lot.
Yeah, it sure does. So yeah, anyways, he cuts his promo here. A pretty good promo from obviously Hollywood Rock doing his thing. But we move on to another triple threat match of sorts, but it's a triple threat tag team match for the SmackDown tag team titles. We got Los Guerreros, Chavo and Eddie taking on Chris Benoit and Rhino versus Team Angle, the future world's greatest tag team of Charlie Haas and Shelton Benjamin, the current champions here. So this one starts out hot again. All six guys just kind of brawling around to start, and eventually kind of breaks down with Charlie Haas and Chavo in the ring. There's a back suplex and a backdrop to Charlie Haas from Chavo. There's a big drop kick to Haas. He tags in Benoit. Gets arm dragged. Eddie gets tagged in. Benoit and Eddie go at it for a few minutes, which is always great because Benoit runs him into the corner and chops the ever-loving shit out of Eddie 3 or 4 times. My God, these chops really, really loud. But, as he probably just told him to lay it in. But both men kind of collided into each other in the ropes. Rhino gets a quick tag in, hits a running power slam to Eddie. There's a tag into Shelton. Shelton hits a couple of elbow drops to him. There's a tag into Haas as they try to kind of isolate and do their tag team thing here. They had a big double drop kick for a 2 count. Rhino tags in Benoit once again. Benoit chops Haas a couple of times. It's a big snap suplex and a back suplex, but only gets a 2 count. Tag back into Rhino. There's a run into the corner. There's tag into Shelton. A lot of quick tags kind of back and forth. Some running shoulder thrust to Shelton Benjamin. Eddie tags back in, hits a quick drop kick. Benoit tags back in, and we get Benoit and Eddie again for another minute or two with a side suplex. Now, huge superplex from Benoit to Eddie. It looked really good. There's a big thing where Benoit kind of lifts him up almost like he's trying to do a kind of a press slam and drops him into the crossface. That looked great. There was a spot that I don't know how they pulled that off. I watched it like 3 times. He almost like he's trying to dump him for a backdrop and just hooks him right into the crossface on the way down. That looked great. But Haas breaks that up. Benoit tries to tilt-a-whirl backbreaker, but Eddie fights back with a brainbuster. The tag into Chavo. He hits a big Rana on Shelton. Benoit then comes back in and hits 4 rolling Germans to Chavo Guerrero, really kind of taking over here. But there's a tag into Shelton Benjamin. He gets a super kick on Benoit, but only gets a 2. Eddie and Chris kind of knock heads in the middle of the ring. Shelton hits, again, a standard leg drop to Chris, another leg drop, probably the 3rd one tonight. Goes for a cover, but Eddie out of nowhere hits a huge frog splash to the back of Shelton Benjamin out of nowhere. And then there's an overhead belly-to-belly suplex from Haas to Chavo. And then all of a sudden, out of nowhere, Rhino hits the gore to Charlie Haas. And then he hits another gore to Chavo, but Eddie pulls Rhino out of the ring, and Shelton jumps on over on Chavo and steals the pin after the gore for a 3 count. Again, a lot of fast-paced action here, no downtime whatsoever. I think these guys got about, I looked it up, like 9 minutes or 10 minutes. But yeah, it's nonstop stuff here back and forth, but pretty good overall. So good showcase of these SmackDown guys. Everybody kind of getting their own thing. And Richie, what'd you think about this one here?
Yeah, I thought it was good. 6 really good workers.
Yeah, 9.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought.
Yeah. 6 really good workers here. When I was watching this, I'm like, man, why didn't I draft a World's Greatest Tag Team that were available? I'm like, it would have been a good pickup. But yeah, no, it's great. Yeah, just a really solid match. You could do no wrong with this. You had you had a few of the like 3 of the SmackDown 6, what they were called, like 3 of the SmackDown 6 they were called back.
Yeah.
So and it's really solid match here. I thought that they'd get more mileage out of Benoit and Rhino as a tag team, but like they break them up like a few months.
They tagged up for like a month, and then Rhino turns on him like a week later. I mean, it's very quick. Yeah, I thought they made a good little tag team though. Yeah,
like I think they bring back the US title, and it's Benoit versus Eddie, and then Rhino costing the match. I'm like, oh, that's annoying because I like Benoit and Rhino kind of suit each other. They're both really intense. They just got the similar style. I thought they match up well as a tag team, right? So I don't know. But yeah, like I know that I think Chavo gets injured at some point around this time because the Eddie and Tajiri end up taking the tag titles off World's Greatest Tag Team in a really good ladder match. But no, this is a good match.
Yeah, JPO, any thoughts on this SmackDown 6 little tag match here?
Nah, dude, fuck yeah. I mean, the division here is really good. Again, I feel like you can look back on it, SmackDown like a workhorse show. There's just a lot of good people on here. And again, 6 very talented people here. I forgot about Benoit and Rhino as a team. If you had trivia me that in WBC recently, it would have been like, who teamed with Benoit in 03? It would have been like, rub it in. No, that's not right. But no, they worked here. And this is a great match. It was a lot of fun here. And again, another one where like they pack a lot in 9 minutes,
No, for sure. Yeah, they were going really fast. Jacob, thoughts on this one?
Yeah, they definitely pack a lot in, and I enjoyed every minute of it. Yeah, I think all 6 guys did their thing here, and this was a great tag team match at a great WrestleMania. I really dig this one.
I knew Benoit teamed with Rhino because it won me the point, and I beat Paul Mead on it in a CWT to earn a title shot against him. So
that was actually a legit question asked recently. That's funny.
Yeah,
I said that as a joke. I didn't know it was actually asked.
yeah. No, for sure. All right, so we go back to the ladies who were in the locker room, all 4 ladies, and they are having a nice little friendly discussion about who created WrestleMania, Mr. McMahon or Hulk Hogan. And at first we get
Hogan.
No, wait for it. Wait. So we get Stacy and Tori start arguing at first, and Tori is arguing that I believe Vince McMahon created Hulk Hogan. Stacy saying that that Hulk Hogan created Vince McMahon. They go back and forth, and they walk away. We then go to the other Catfight girls who showcase their amazing acting ability as they start arguing as well as to who is. And I wrote down, I don't know what accent this Tanya has, but her Hulk Hogan was weird because it goes, Mr. McMahon, Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon, Hulk Hogan, Mr. McMahon, Hulk Hogan. I swear to God, you have to go watch it. It is this. I don't know what accent this is. Is it a Canadian, French, Lithuanian accent? I don't know what the fuck this is. But her Hulk Hogan is the strangest way to pronounce Hulk Hogan I've ever heard. But yeah, this is something to behold. So I looked up both these ladies to see what they've been doing since 2003. Katana Baker. I'll start with Tanya. Tanya, the blonde, is currently married.
Oh, you slipped.
Oh, are you playing her? I was gonna say, why am I hearing this shit? All right, you're playing it loud. Okay. I was like, why am I echoing what I just said?
I was trying to get the I was trying to get the clip of
Hogan. It's really, really bad. So Tanya the blonde.
So I have an idea, by the way. They gave her the script, and it was one of those things where the word didn't fit, so it said "ho" on the next line, "gan," because she probably never heard the name before.
Hogan. So Tanya the blonde, the one who says Hulk Hogan weird, is currently married to Rick Romanois, who is a film director. And he is currently kind of one of Gerard Butler's guys because he has directed Angel Has Fallen, Greenland, and Kandahar most recently. So he is a working film director working with Gerard Butler. And
pretty good, by the way. I recommend Greenland.
Greenland's really good. Yeah, that's a nice hidden gem. Also, he directed the Dwayne Johnson film Snitch from 2013.
Also,
if you remember. Yes, and Tanya Ballinger has a direct connection because not only is she married to him, but plays a party mom in Snitch. So she is on screen in Snitch.
She's on screen.
So,
she's on
yes,
set,
right. So she's with Rick. Katana Baker, the brunette, also has a connection to Dwayne Johnson because she plays a barbarian girl in The Scorpion King in 2002, which I looked up her IMDb. So yeah, even before the actual catfight thing in 2003, and then she has been ongoing for about the last 15 years, a King of the Cage ring girl. So that's kind of what she's been up to. Doesn't really have a lot of like acting credit. I couldn't really find much else about her. But yeah, so Tanya married to Rick Romanois, working film director, mostly for old Gerard Butler.
Decent filmography.
Pretty decent filmography. Yeah, not really any like super bad movies or anything.
I haven't seen Kandahar, but I didn't hear anything too bad about it. So
no, I heard it was like all right. So yeah, I mean it was fine. Greenland's really good. Angel Has Fallen's okay, and Snitch is one of Dwayne Johnson's better movies. So yeah, not a bad.
Two of those are highly decent recommend.
Yeah. So, anyways, that's what the Miller Cap and for anybody who doesn't know, the Miller Cap, it was a commercial they did for Miller Lite where it was a controversial commercial at the time where they literally had like a cat fight in the thing in like bikinis or whatever. It aired for like a couple weeks, and then the Family Television Council, where that stupid one that's always going after WWE too, like complained about it so much that they
the parent TV, the one
council, whatever the fuck it's called.
The one that Right to Censor was supposed to be.
The one that Right to Censor was a parody of, essentially, yes. As their way to get back. Yeah, complained about it. So you can go look it up on YouTube. It's on there. There was a big deal. They went on Jimmy Kimmel Live at the time. They went on a couple talk shows, talked about it. It was a whole big hoopla. So that's why they're here, essentially. So it was a big deal. But anyway, so we get all that. We get a video package for Shawn Michaels and Chris Jericho getting us caught up to speed. Their rivalry, and they would have their first kind of official match against each other here, as we have the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels, taking on Chris Jericho. Shawn comes out, and as he's going down the ring, is shooting these confetti guns, and two of them don't work. That was funny. He tries to shoot off. So he shoots off at first couple. They work, just shooting confetti, whatever. Tries to shoot another one. Doesn't work. Oh, shit. Doesn't work. He tries another one. Doesn't work either. And then he finally goes to the last one and does this whole come on. And then finally shoots it off and it works. So that was interesting. But, Sean kind of rolling with it, just having fun with it. But anyways, that was weird. And then Chris Jericho comes out. We get our match started. We started out with some arm drags, kind of back and forth, hip tosses, leg takedowns, standoffs, some really good kind of back and forth catch can stuff here. Some side headlocks by HBK. He shoulder blocks Jericho. Jericho slaps Shawn Michaels out of nowhere and gets tossed over the ropes for his troubles after that. Michaels fakes a pescado, but hits a sliding drop kick instead. And then he hits a big top rope cross body, which gets countered by Jericho into a pin for a 2. There's a big spinning heel kick to Shawn and some chops. He's choking him on the ropes a little bit. He tells the ref he's the king of bling bling. That was his thing at the time. That was kind of funny. Just stops to tell the referee that. He tries the bulldog that goes into the lion salt, but gets thrown groin first into the turnbuckle. That had to hurt. And then we get figure 4 leg lock by Heartbreak Kid trying to submit Jericho. Jericho rolls over and reverses the pressure as they unhook. He tries it again, but Shawn gets pushed into the post shoulder first. Shawn goes over the ropes, but he skins the cat and pulls Jericho over and finally hits the pescado over the top rope. There's a Walls of Jericho on the ramp as Jericho takes back over as he just kind of puts the submission on there for a minute, just really wearing him down. He picks up Shawn and runs his back into the post, working on that old back injury. There's a big Jericho hits his big apron drop kick. Taking it to Shawn here. There's a back suplex inside the ring and a big vertical suplex for a 2 count. He hits a big backbreaker and does his little pose pin where he's doing the little Hogan pose. I remember that was a move actually on the SmackDown game. It was like an actual pin thing where he would like do the little posing pin. I remember you could do that as like up and square or whatever. That was one of the things. So here's whatever that brought back some memories. Jericho puts a sleeper on him but can't get the tap out. He gets lifted up and Shawn hits big DDT to counter out of nowhere as both guys are down. Some right hands by Shawn. Jericho hits Shawn with a big flying form and kips up, kind of mocking Shawn Michaels as he goes to try to super kick and do Sweet Chin Music, but it doesn't work as Shawn sees it coming because he starts up and hits his big forearm and the inverted Tommy drop of the clotheslines, making his comeback here. He hits a standing moonsault off the top rope to Jericho, but only gets a 2 count. There's a series of back and forth kind of roll-ups and pins and counters. Jericho goes for the Walls of Jericho, but Shawn flips out of it. There's a Northern Lights suplex, and they do the bridge up out of the Northern Lights, which always looks great, into the backslide. Clothesline to Shawn to put him back down. And then Jericho out of nowhere is able to hit the bulldog that he tried earlier and hits the actual lion salt, but he only gets 2 as Shawn kicks out. Shawn tries a standing Hurricane Rana, but Jericho in a cool spot counters the Hurricane Rana and just switches his arms over and pulls the Walls of Jericho right then and there, which was a cool little spot. But Shawn's able to get to the ropes and break it up. It's an inside cradle to Jericho for 2 as Shawn's trying to fire back, but Jericho cuts him off with an underhook backbreaker. Jericho goes for a top rope reverse elbow, and then he once again tunes up the band, and he hits the Sweet Chin Music on Shawn Michaels, but Shawn kicks out at 2. Pretty good stuff here. Shawn gets whipped into the ropes, and he hits a step-up crossbody and a few right hands as Shawn, again, trying to fight back. Shawn goes for the Walls of Jericho, but turns into a catapult when he can't turn him over and gets a 2 count. Chris Jericho sets Shawn up on the top and tries for a big back suplex, but it's countered into a really nasty looking falling crossbody as he really just kind of squashed Jericho's head on the way down. That looked pretty gross on a replay. But Jericho is able to stop the top rope elbow drop by pushing the referee into the ropes, kind of knocking Shawn off of there. Shawn counters a superplex and slams Jericho face first, and he hits the top rope elbow drop on Jericho as he starts to properly tune up the band here, goes for the super kick. Jericho ducks, goes for the walls once again, but there's he tries to go for a rope break, eventually grabs the ropes once again. Jericho getting frustrated here as he thought he had the tap out. And then as he turns back around after he argues, he runs right into a Sweet Chin music from Shawn out of nowhere. That looked pretty brutal as well. But Shawn, both guys are down. Shawn gets whipped upside down into the buckle, and Jericho is able to grab him, pull him into a cradle, but only gets 2. And then Shawn does this pretty cool like leg cradle where he flips Jericho backwards and is able to bridge over and gets a 3 count on Chris Jericho kind of out of nowhere. Awesome match. And after the match, they go to hug, but dastardly Jericho kicks Shawn right in the balls to get his heat back. But yeah, great match from these two guys. Definitely the best match of the show thus far, and the first of a series of awesome matches that these guys would have. So, Jacob, what do you think of this matchup here?
Spoilers for the rest of the show. This is my favorite match on the card. Nice. I absolutely love this match. I go back and forth between this and the main event, but I think this one just edges it out just a little bit now, and I think we go on a run here where I think Shawn Michaels has, in my opinion, the best match at the next 19, 20, 8 WrestleManias. I think he just absolutely steals the show every single time. There's a couple where it's, I could see something else taking the cake, but no, I mean, I absolutely love this match. Yeah, that hug at the end, and then I feel like that might have been genuine. He's like, all right, now kick me. Like we had a really good match right now. Kick me. Yeah. You're still a dick. So I absolutely love this match. Two fantastic workers, and they were given the time. They hit their spots. They made me believe that Shawn was going to lose due to his own finisher. Good false finishes. This match rules.
Yeah, Richie.
Yeah, no, this match, definitely holds up. It rules. I was with that. They didn't really. I thought that given that the night show at the end, I thought, they're going to follow it up, and they kind of didn't. Like they didn't really have like a one-on-one match until way later down the track. When Jericho's on his really sort of cool heel run in 2008, but because I think in Backlash they're part of a weird 6-man with I think Nash is in there as well. But it's a really solid match. These two obviously have really good chemistry, and I go back and forth between this and the main event as well, but it's a fantastic match, and it's one that I will go back and watch quite often, and solid match, probably solid 4-star match out of 5. You can make the argument it's 5-star. I don't know.
Yeah, it's between 4 and 5. Yeah, I'd say 4 1/4, 4.5. It's really good stuff. JPO, what did you think of this first match between Shawn and Jericho here?
Yeah, no, I was just doing some, as I like to do, some weird fact checking.
Sure.
So it is true. Yeah, they don't have another singles match until July on Raw. They end up having a match, and then another rematch in a year later on Raw. But it's not until 2008 that they kind of have those big pay-per-view matches again. But anywho, going back to this, I fucking love this match here. This starts the kind of the streak of matches here that why I do fight for this. Sometimes it's the best Mania here because I love this match here. It's our first Michaels Mania since '98. He absolutely delivers here. It's been a good build up. Even the video package, was really good building up to these two here. I even love their gear. It's great, classic but updated Shawn Michaels gear. Speaking of SmackDown video games, this was the gear that was in one of the SmackDown video games. This light blue gear that I always liked. They put on a great match here, and I love this match a lot.
Oh, totally. Yeah, no, good stuff here. Yeah, this was kind of the show was like that Great American Bash '89 we watched, where it's first few matches, there's nothing really totally bad or anything. There's some good entertaining stuff, and then you get to a certain point, and it's all pretty much mostly bangers from here on out, or mostly really good matches from here on out. So you kind of get to the halfway point here. It's really, really good. So yeah, we go backstage. We see Sylvain Grenier. I always forgot he debuted as a shitty crooked referee.
I just think I just had in my mind, he debuted with a lot of distance. No, he was a referee before.
No,
that Rock and Hogan rematch,
yeah, the Rock Hogan rematch. Yeah, he screws over Hogan at that No Way Out the month before. So we see him go into Vince's office, and that's all.
And
we
then
see.
randomly lived near me, and I met him a couple years ago. Nice guy.
Oh, okay, nice. Limp Bizkit then performs Crack Addict, which I thoroughly skipped to get to the next segment.
The only thing I'll say about that is that he goes, Tony Chimel lied. He goes, and then they're going to sing a song from their brand new album, and this song's unreleased. It never was released on any album. So anyway, that's just
that's interesting.
Huh. Okay.
I was gonna say, it's definitely not a hot dog flavored water song. Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, no, I guess.
Yeah.
But yes, we come out to the segment that you would never see in 2024 as the coach introduces the Miller Lite Catfight girls properly onto the stage, Tanya and Katana. There is a very large bed set up to the side of the stage as they are going to have an official bed catfight or something, match. I don't know what this is. There's no referee. We're gonna recreate the thing. No, it's not a match. No, it is not, because there's no referee.
The time for Wrestlemania.
But yeah, Coach lays down rules. I don't know why. But anyways, he's starting to say that what I don't know. He's going on and on. Stacey and Tori interrupt. By the way, I wrote JR is disgusted. He's completely disgusted by this whole segment, as he should be.
I wrote down I am JR in this segment, and King.
He's just like, oh, for God's sakes! What are we doing? Even JR is just like, oh, God damn it! What are we doing? He just wants to.
And King's being as annoying. So,
so yeah, they kind of start immediately. Tori takes her shirt off, going down to her bra. All the girls start kind of stripping each other's shirts off. Tori pulls Stacey over and begins spanking her. There's pillow fighting. They do the spot where they roll over the coach as they kind of knock him over, and they strip the coach down to his tighty whities and then hit him with pillows. That's the whole segment. It's a complete, utter waste of time and a time filler. And yeah, a segment that would never, ever happen today. So, no, not a match, just a segment. It's bad.
13-year-old me 90% of this.
Sure. 38-year-old me now is we just saw an awesome match. Can we get back to the wrestling, please? What are we doing? Yeah, so but we do get back to the matches after this.
This is why on paper I can see why people don't think this is the best Mania, because again, when you look at it just on paper, it's not a match, so you don't think about it until you rewatch it and go, oh yeah, this shit's on.
I had forgotten about this segment until they showed the girls fighting, and I'm like, oh yeah, there's a stupid cat. Oh god, I forgot about that. It's
and you would think they would learn from history not to put a pillow fight or a cat fight on WrestleMania, but a couple of years later they have a pillow fight with Tori Wilson again, I think. At WrestleMania, I think it's WrestleMania.
It was an actual match at that time too.
Was it that, or was there a mud wrestling thing at some point?
I don't know.
Or the mud pool.
No,
I
know what it's not mud. It's in the ring, and it's a Big Show, Akubono Mania. It's the Hollywood Mania or whatever.
Oh, okay,
right? 21 or whatever.
It's that one and Big Show and Akebono that kind of put the match, the pay-per-view down. But
yeah. All right, so we get to Triple H versus Booker T for the World Heavyweight title, or as I like to call it, the racist match of the night, because holy shit was Jerry the King Lawler in full racist mode in this match. I had forgotten about this. Jesus.
The problem with this, too, is that it followed a bad segment. So it's this followed this. I'm like, this is... I was like,
Yeah, we get the video, which I forgot. Yeah, Triple H is also being vaguely racist, calling him a street thug, saying someone like you can't be world heavyweight champion. This was really cringy stuff. Going back and watching this, I put Lawler is being 100% racist on commentary throughout the entire match. I wrote down a few of his lines throughout the thing. We'll talk about them. But it is for the World Heavyweight titles. Booker T's getting a shot here. There's Booker starts out hot with some chops and some strikes and a big back body drop, trying to take it to Triple H quick. Triple H, for some reason, goes up to the top rope. This was always a weird spot for literally no reason, just so Booker T could arm drag him off the top rope.
I mean, like, if you're known for doing at least one top rope move, I could get it, but like you've never gone to the
not
top
at all.
rope.
No, he went to the Ric Flair school.
He was calling him Ric Flair.
Yeah,
he was calling Ric Flair.
Goes up to the top and he fails.
Other than fail.
Yeah, pretty much. So out on the outside, it spills out. Booker T runs Triple H into the post. In ring, he kind of, there's some whips and counters. Booker ends up hitting a lariat for 2. Booker tries to go for a big Harlem sidekick, but he gets dumped over the top rope as he misses. This is where Lawler started talking about that something about he was born on a pool table. And his family portrait was like behind bars and shit like that. It's being really, really racist. Even JR at some point is really getting really fed up with him just talking about that like over and over again, to where I think he was legitimately getting pissed at Jerry, just like, stop with the fucking racism. Like, just stop, Jerry. Like, you're being like, this is really, really bad. Almost as if you saw into the future. He has another line about that Booker T today went to the grocery store and tried to pay for everything with cigarettes. That's when I really started to cringe. I was like, oh my God, Jerry, like, what are you doing? So it's very, very bad. Anyways, getting back to the match, Triple H comes back and cuts off Booker T with a neck breaker. Booker tries to fight back out, but Triple H has his big spine buster for a 2 count and a corner clothesline for a 2 count. But Booker counters a suplex into a DDT, trying to make a comeback here. Hits a big sidewalk slam and a leaping forearm for a 2. Triple H tries to cut him off with a sleeper hold, but Booker runs him into the buckle. But then Hunter fights back and hits his big running high knee for a 2 count as well. There's a face buster by Hunter, that knee face buster he always does. But Booker comes back with his own standing spine buster to fire back with some chops and some other right hands. He hits a big leaping kick. Onto Triple H. Then he misses 2 scissor kick attempts. The second one, he goes over the ropes. And then this is where Flair starts to interfere. He drops Booker's knee on the stairs as they start to work over his leg with a cheap shot there. Triple H then puts on an Indian Deathlock submission in the middle of the ring. I wrote, he's in this hold forever. He was in this hold for like 3 minutes. It took forever for him to get out of it, but they're really trying to work the knee here. Booker tries to fight back with a sunset flip, but only gets a 2 count. Triple H tries the pedigree, but Booker gets squashed into the referee as he tries to back out of it. So the ref is kind of down here. There's a schoolboy for a quick 2 count. A couple of elbows by Booker, and then he actually hits the scissor kick, but Triple H kicks out of it at 2. Booker hits Flair. Booker goes up the top rope. Flair tries to interfere. He knocks him off. He then knocks Triple H down. And then he hits the Harlem Hangover and absolutely obliterates Triple H's head with his leg. He squashed the shit out of his head coming down on this. It looked really nasty.
There's a reason that he wasn't allowed to. He only did this sparingly. And not even, until WWE.
Probably this is the reason, because it looked really nasty. But it's supposedly storyline wise kind of bangs up his knee a little bit more. He eventually gets a pin on Triple H, but Flair puts Triple H's foot on the ropes to break the count. They're both very slow to get up, and Triple H, as they get up, hits a pedigree, and 28 seconds later, drapes his arm over Booker T and gets the 3 count, which 28 seconds in wrestling land is an eternity. And I counted it for you, Richie. You asked me to do so, and I did. 28 seconds later, he drapes his arm. And technically, even with the 3 count, it's 31 seconds later, Triple H wins the match as Booker T unable to kick out of this pedigree. Not like a bad match. In terms of the actual match quality, it was okay, like for what it was. But the Jerry Lawler commentary was very, very cringy and did not age very well. And just kind of a cringy storyline. And then again, I think we all agree, a booking blunder. Booker T should have won this match because in storyline, the racist one. So you know, kids, here's the moral of the story. If you overcome your mother dying when you're a kid, and you raise all your friends and family, and you struggle and you go to jail because you're trying to provide for them, and you eventually clean up your act and you get into wrestling and you work for a company and they go out of business, and you work your way up through the mid card of the other company, finally get your way to main event status, you too, kids, can also lose at WrestleMania to Triple H. Moral of the story. So yeah. It's still one of the great kind of booking blunders in my opinion. JPO, what do you think of this whole thing here?
It's a good match. I think this is a good match. I think we're a really good match here. But yeah, it's the slight bundlers that take it away, and probably again, just tweak it just a little bit here. Again, I think it adds to the argument of like why it's the best meeting, because I feel like one of the arguments against it was, well, the wrong guy won here. As you said too, in the world of wrestling here, the pinfall was very late, and so after we see moves nowadays where 7 tombstones you got to do before the guy gets a 2.5, and now all of a sudden this is enough. The good guy should have won, especially when it's this kind of storyline. Plus, again, this is the era of I'm starting to get annoyed, kind of like with Roman Reigns and and in other eras, Jeff Jarrett or John Cena, where Triple H could lose. He really could have and should have lost. You know what I mean?
And Booker could have won, and even if he only held it to SummerSlam, he could have just had a brief title run and then dropped it. Something he could have
even Backlash.
At least give him his moment. Yeah, at least a moment.
The moment, fun Mania moment here. And I think as a face outside of King Booker, this is the hottest Booker got and ever would get. Really. So missed time. So they missed out on that just to give it to Triple H still. Cool. Yeah. But otherwise, as far as everything else, I still thought it was a solid match.
Yeah, for sure. Richie?
Yeah. Especially the pedigree and the long pin is especially egregious because Booker T is not allowed to kick out of one pedigree, but yet Triple H kicked out of the scissors kick. I don't know. Mm-hmm. It's all right, cool.
And technically didn't kick out of the Harlem Hangover, but they break that up with the foot. So and it's so both your finishers didn't work. Even the one you pulled out just for Mania, which would have been a great pin if you had actually gotten the pin off the Harlem Hangover, would have been pretty great.
Yeah, if they had this, look, the only way this could work if they had this sort of maybe a Cody Roman thing. If they had this long-term story in mind, where he's eventually going to get his win and in a whole moment, then fine. But it's the fact that you built his up that he's overcoming adversity, and all his life and stuff, and he loses clean, and it's what the fuck to one pedigree, and it's okay. And then Jerry Lawler on commentary. He was going so hard that it felt like, I'm not saying that was definitely the case, but it just felt it almost felt like these were suppressed feelings he had, and he finally had an excuse to let them all out.
JR at one point gets so frustrated he starts to cuss. He starts going, because it's Booker T. Goddamn, I mean, gosh darn it. He says he even drops a goddamn it at one point and kind of catches himself. I think he's legitimately getting frustrated with King during this match, and Jerry's just calm down, JR. Oh my God, I'm just being a little racist.
I think then I think maybe they could have had a talk after the show, because after that he was annoyed for the rest of the show, because Jerry kept due to my name on here, he kept going, "This is WrestleMania," and then he kept mocking him, "This is WrestleMania, this is WrestleMania." And they just kept arguing it the whole time. Now it's Jerry Lawler was insufferable. I forgot about that portion of it. I knew Triple H was racist, but oh my God, Jerry Lawler was
worse. Jerry was worse.
Oh yeah. Dude, oh my God, they wouldn't run the storyline for one, but you get totally canceled. Just
well, just keep in mind, wasn't this the year of Katie Vick? Also, just keep that in mind.
That was 20. It was around the same time.
Around the same time. I'm just saying, around the same time. Yeah, there was some.
Yeah. We're a few months away. We're that's September. So yeah.
Yeah. We're not far away from that. All Vince's ideas, by the way. So yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. I don't know, and you don't strike while the iron's hot. So okay, and then Booker T's back being doing he's not even in the main event picture after that like this for a while.
No, he falls hard. That's what I'm saying. Like he kind of falls hard, not hard, but as far as main event hard,
He's in the mid. He's in the mid card fighting for the they bring back the Intercontinental title, and he's fighting for that.
But he doesn't get to the main event again really till King Booker, right? Like pretty much.
For the other title, which was the lesser title in my opinion.
Yeah. For sure. Jacob, any quick thoughts on this one? I know we've been rambling on about this one, but there's a lot going on here.
I mean, despite the commentary and like the storyline leading into it, I do think is a pretty good match. Despite the finish as well. 28 seconds is a long time. But I still overall I think it's a pretty good match. In a string of really good matches here to close the show out. And I looked it up. This is I wonder if they learned from their mistake because Triple H would not win at WrestleMania again until WrestleMania 25. So they're like, hey, no, he doesn't always have to win.
I think
he actually has a losing record at WrestleMania if I remember correctly. But
I think that Reign of Terror, because this was in the midst of that Reign of Terror was perceived so poorly that he's like, okay, I better.
The 2003 Triple H is the Reign of Terror, for Triple H.
That's what I was saying. That adds to the fact of how annoying it is because he is kind of he's in control. Again, speaking of Triple H, he'd go on to defeat Rob Van Dam, and Rob Van Dam should have won because he was so hot. He defeated Kane when Kane was getting pretty hot.
He beat Goldberg after Goldberg came in hot and beats him at the Elimination Chamber and kills all of his momentum dead.
It gets really annoying. Yeah, there's at least 3 or 4 times where I was like, I really wanted the other guy to win. And not in like a fun wrestling way, in like a I'm bored with you way. Like, come on.
There's also the sense of like sticking it to WCW. Like there's like you got
Richie. One can only imagine if Triple H had not gotten hurt before the invasion, he would have beaten every fucking WCW guy one after another with a fucking pedigree. Every single one after another, just down. He would have buried every single one of them. Okay. They were already buried. He would have buried him even more. Yeah,
there's always been that rumor of like Vince maybe holding it against people because like again like Dusty being polka dots, Steamboat never touched the world title, Booker. You go on several.
Triple H got squashed. Sting at WrestleMania.
And then they made it a whole WCW thing. Yeah. It was weird.
I always felt horrible for DDP. DDP was a 4-time champ, and then Taker beat the shit out of him in their first encounter, and makes him became a driver.
And he's like a lovable dude, and they make him a stalker. It's like that's not his character.
No, he was the people's champion of WCW.
I felt like he could have actually had an evenly keeled fight with the Undertaker, but no, they treated him like a real bitch compared to Undertaker.
Nope. Anyway, speaking of Vince, we get our build up to Mr. McMahon versus Hulk Hogan as the Miller Lite catfight girls alluded to. It's basically the who created WrestleMania street fight here as we get a little video about their history. Hulk Hogan, and the steroid trial and the back and forth promos about who made whatnot. So it leads to a street fight here as we've got Vince McMahon taking on Hulk Hogan. Hulk Hogan with his terrible Voodoo Child,
I hate
copyright-free music. Oh my god, this was the shit. I had to skip the entire entrance because it's just a really bad, just like generic Voodoo Child, Jimi Hendrix copyright-free thing here. Really, really bad. I've seen some where they just edit in the Real American theme, which is probably what they just should have done here. But the generic thing is really bad. So anyway, street fight rolls here. Vince starts by slapping Hulk Hogan right in the face. Hogan takes him down real quick right after that. Some right hands and a little ground and pound from Hogan. Puts a beating on him in the corner turnbuckle. Vince tries to come back with a back elbow, a clothesline, and a punt to the gut on the ground. It hits his own kind of shoulder thrust in the corner. Chokes him a little bit on the ropes. Hits a few right hands as well. He works his knees into Hogan's arm, trying to work on a little body part here. Wraps Hogan's arm around the corner post. There's then a very, very long test of strength back and forth between Vince and Hogan. This kind of goes on forever, but Hogan eventually fires up in the test of strength, and Vince tosses Hogan over the top rope. Some clubs on the outside, runs Hogan into the post. He then tries to hit Hulk Hogan with a chair, but misses as Hogan then grabs Vince and runs him into the post. Hogan then hits Vince with a chair right in the head, as I'm sure Vince McMahon was one to just say, "Just give it to me, brother," and he gave it to him because he just hits him right in the head, unprotected, right in the head. Vince is busted open. Hogan pushes Vince out of the ring, kind of near the announcer's table. He hits Vince in the back with a chair twice, and then he ducks a third chair shot, and that is the infamous where Hulk Hogan hits Hugo Savinovich of the Spanish announce table in the head with the chair as he goes down and is also busted open at this point. That's the clip I linked to you guys with the actual Spanish commentary where Carlos Cabrera goes, "Oh, mi amigo, oh Hugo." Yeah, it's very interesting, very fun. But there's a low blow to Hogan as Vince tries to take back over and hits him in the head with a chair. Vince then pulls a ladder unexpectedly out of the ring, places it in between the announcer's table, and then he hits Hulk Hogan with a monitor right in the head. Vince goes to the top of the ladder and drops a leg drop on Hulk Hogan through the announcer's table, hitting Hulk with his own medicine there off the ladder. He rolls him into the ring, but only gets a 2 count. Vince then goes back outside and grabs a lead pipe from under the ring. Hogan, in desperation, hits a big low blow to Vince to knock the pipe out of his hands. And then, speaking of pipes, Rowdy Roddy Piper then jumps into the ring out of nowhere, making his first appearance back in WWE in a long, long time. We have not seen him since probably 98 or 99 WCW or something. Maybe one of his goofy promos around then. But Piper in the ring to a huge pop, crowd going nuts for Piper. He spits on both Hogan and Vince. He kicks Vince a little bit, but then as soon as Hulk Hogan gets up, Piper lays him out with the lead pipe. And as he leaves the ring, clearly goes, "Kiss my fucking ass, fuck all of you," and right into the camera. He just does not give a shit. But Vince rolls over, tries to get a pin, but only gets 2. Vince throws Brian Hebner out of the ring in frustration. Sylvain Grenier, that crooked referee, then runs out, followed closely by Mike Sparks, an actual referee. But he hits Mike Sparks on the way in. Vince McMahon gets a leg drop, but only gets a 2 count. And right after that, Hulk Hogan fires up. He starts Hulk Hogan, hulking up on everybody. He tosses Sylvain over the ropes, hits the punches, the boots, and 3 leg drops in a row. 1, 2, and 3 for the 3 count, and gets the victory over Vince McMahon. And post-match, for some reason, Shane McMahon comes down to the ring and attends to Vince, and we don't get a follow-up on that. He just goes to Vince, and we cut away. I don't know what that was about, but okay. So, Jacob, what'd you think of this street fight here?
I dug it. Yeah, I think they lean into the after the test of strength. I think they lean into the street fight stipulation a little bit, doing some pretty cool stuff on the outside. I love the shot when Vince gets lead pipe and just him looking up into the ring with that just that look
up
on
over
his
the
face.
up over the apron.
Really good shot.
Yeah, it's like an iconic shot that we've used a few times.
Yeah.
So maybe a little overbooked towards the end with referee Piper and stuff like that, but I still overall thought this was a really good match. I think one of Hulk's better WrestleMania matches, in my opinion.
No, probably. I mean, he had 2 good ones in a row between this one and the Rock one, obviously from the year before. So, I mean, 2 good WrestleMania matches. So, yeah, good on him. Yeah, I mean, a little overbooked, but at the same time, how much do you want to see Vince wrestle? So, the more that's just going on that's not Vince trying to wrestle, I think is probably a good thing. So, yeah, once they got away from the wrestling portion in the beginning and worked the street fight angle and just kind of did the brawl, it got better. A lot better. So, yeah, Richie, what do you think of the street fight here?
Yeah, I remember watching it when it was live on there, and I had the same opinion there. I'm like, it's surprisingly really good.
Yeah, not like a great match, but it's really entertaining. It's entertaining,
match, but it's very entertaining. It's a great way. It's great use of like smoke and mirrors to create a good match. Yeah, like that. I mean, I mean, we all know that Vince is, insane, but like the stuff he's willing to do to entertainment, like when he that leg drop, I'm like holy shit, but but he'd still do stuff like remember like there's a clip of like I think it was during the pandemic where like Rob Gronkowski didn't want to jump off. He had to do a spot where he had to jump off jump off this balcony, this barrier or something. He didn't want to do it, and Vince just dived off it to show him it's not that bad. I'm like, holy shit, dude! So that dude, no, there was no fear. There was one awkward moment on the commentary that doesn't hold up when they're doing the test of strength. Michael Cole goes, "These are two of the most influential men." I'm like, ooh. I'll take things sentences that don't age well for 500, Alex. Yeah, but it's a fun match. Again, I don't think they really follow up the Roddy Piper thing. He'd go on to manage Sean O'Hara after this. And that kind of fizzles out. But it's a really solid match. I had like a Mandela effect thing. I thought Hulk Hogan loses this because not long after this he dons a Mr. America thing, pretends that he's not Hulk Hogan. So I'm like, oh.
I saw a funny parody thing, Richie, where it said it was after Vince got fired, like legitimately, like a little while back, and it said mysterious booker Mr. Connecticut takes over creative, and it was Vince under a mask. And I thought that was really fucking funny. So yeah, that was really good. JPO, any thoughts on this street fight here?
No, I mean this was fun. This is another one I've enjoyed before. They know how to kind of work around their limitations here. You know what I mean? Make it a fun brawl, make some memorable moments. The Piper thing was fun and kind of unexpected here. It's a bit bloody. You get what you want. Yeah, I mean it's booked smartly, kind of fight brawl. Like I forgot who said it, but overbooked in a good way. You know what I mean, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, you don't want to see Vince wrestling too much. It's like just stick to the brawling, stick to the overbooking, stick to the gimmicky stuff.
It's brawling. It's getting shit kicked out of him. It's fun. Yeah.
You know what it kind of reminds me of? It reminds me in terms of quality and the way they worked around and stuff. You know how like the Trish Stephanie match at No Way Out 2001 is better than it.
Oh yeah, be. we talked about that, right? Yeah, that they worked the brawling a little bit with a few spots here and there, and it was good. Yeah.
It's just
you just gotta be smart. You gotta find a way to book around people that are handicapped.
Well, even that match that Vince and Stephanie had, like where it was like Stephanie and Zach Gowen against Vince.
Watchable.
Remember that? No, watchable. Yeah, because Vince bleeds buckets and they do a bunch of wacky spots and like they worked around it. Yeah, I mean stuff like that. If you know how to work it, you can do it. Yeah, you can find a way. Life finds a way. So yeah, we get our semi-main event here as we get a really nice Rock Austin video, as all those few videos they did with each other were really, really good, kind of recapping Hollywood Rock and Stone Cold here, which we didn't know at the time, but this would be Austin's last match until about 20 years later as well, until Kevin Owens. So we didn't really know that at the time. And for anybody who doesn't know, Austin was in the hospital the night before. He was working out. Yeah, he was working out with like Kevin Nash and a couple of guys like at a gym, and all of a sudden his heart started beating really, really fast, like almost out of his chest, and he went to go get checked out, and they kept him overnight in the hospital. And technically he was not cleared for this match, but he left the hospital anyways and said, fuck that, I'm going to go wrestle this match because, it's me and Rock and we're not going to cancel it. So he was technically not medically cleared. He kind of discharged himself and went to the building and did the match. So I remember hearing about that at the time. They did that documentary, the little mini thing, like the Mania of Wrestlemania, and they disclosed that at the time, that it was kind of a health scare the night before. Yeah. Were you about to say something about that, Richie? Good.
Oh, no. Just, like, I don't know if it was the impetus of him retiring, or he was thinking about that anyway. But, yeah.
Well, I think it was just, some of his health stuff in general, his knees and whatnot, so it was just kind of coming to a head. A quick little note about this that made me feel weird. Stone Cold is 38 in this match. I just turned 38. That's just weird to me.
Mm-hmm.
Stone Cold Steve Austin's 38 in this match, and I'm 38. So yeah, just odd. I don't know, one of those weird things. Anyway, so we got Rock and Stone Cold here. Again, weird parallel is 20 years later, Rock is once again coming out to this theme, so kind of fun there. As he had a good little entrance here. Austin goes right after him from the start, going for the win really quickly. He goes for the stunner, but Rock sees it coming and kind of powders out. Austin, they have a little run around the ring. He kind of jumps all over him, and again, trying to get him into a brawl here. They brawl up and down the ramp a little bit and around the ring. He drops Rock on the barricade, again, kind of leaning into his strength here with the brawling, throws him in and around the announce tables, but Rock gets thrown into the steel steps as well. And then gets choked on the ropes as Austin's really taking it to Rock here. It's a back suplex, but only gets a 2. Whips Rock into the buckles, gives him a clothesline. Rock then goes for a different strategy here to try to cut him off and chop blocks Austin's knee with his history of knee problems. Then hits another chop block on the outside as Austin tries to escape and kind of work out that knee there. Then slams Austin onto the announce table as well, kind of taking it back to him, really working over his knee there. Back in, Rock continues to stomp on that knee, slams it into the apron, wraps it around the post, just again really trying to work into that knee injury. Austin tries to fire back up, but Rock cuts him off again with another shot to the knee, going right back to it. He then puts the sharpshooter on Steve, really trying to work that injury as well, trying to get the tap out, but Austin crawls to the ropes and is able to break it up. Rock continues to work on the knee and wraps it around the post once again. Rock then goes to the outside and grabs Stone Cold's vest and puts on his 316 vest, just kind of mocking Austin here with that. But as he goes back in, he catches a double clothesline. Coming back in, Austin then hits the Luthez press in the right hands. He flips off Earl Hebner as Earl Hebner tries to pull him off, and then drops a couple elbows for a 2 count. Then starts to mudhole, stomp in the corner as the crowd starts to get the what chance going a little bit. Rock then comes back with his big flying clothesline as he was one to do, fighting back a little bit. But out of nowhere, Austin hits a rock bottom, Rock's own move, but only gets a 2 count out of that. Austin instead tries to go for his own move. He goes for the stunner, but Rock blocks it and hits his own Stone Cold Stunner on Austin himself, but only gets a 2 count. Rock starts to fire up some right hands, but Austin is able to push Rock off. Rock walks right back into a gigantic stunner, and oh my god, did Rock sell the shit out of this thing, flipping all over the place out of that stunner, but he's only able to get a 2 count as Rock kicks out of the stunner. Austin then pushes Earl Hebner out of the way, and after he pushes Earl, Rock hits a low blow behind the referee's back. A lot of low blows on the show as well, low blows and leg drops. That was the theme of the show. He misses a people's elbow, but even then he's able to hit a spine buster and hits a proper people's elbow, but only gets a 2 count out of that. He hits a rock bottom to follow up, but Austin kicks out of the rock bottom. But Rock is not giving up. He gives him a second rock bottom. Stone Cold kicks out again, and then he hits a third rock bottom, 3 rock bottoms to put down Austin as he gets the 3 count. And Rock fulfills his destiny and beats Stone Cold Steve Austin at WrestleMania in the 3rd match. Yeah, really good stuff here. I mean, not as long or as epic as maybe as their 17 match, obviously, but they always have great chemistry, and crowd was into it in a really good match. So, Richie, what do you think of this one?
Yeah, no, it's still really good. These two have really good chemistry, and 2 of the biggest stars in wrestling history, and it still felt like an epic match. They might have telegraphed it a little bit in the build-up, just because it was just they haven't heard the point that Rock had never beat him at WrestleMania. So it's like, okay, yeah, it's good. You're gonna win eventually. I don't know. Like, they've talked about this before, but like when Rock finally beat him, he like sort of tapped him on the. He did actually like tap him on the stomach, and he was like, he said something like, "Oh, thanks, I love you," and he was like,
"Thanks, I love you. Thanks for everything, whatever." And Stone Cold said, "I love you too," something like that.
And then Rock was like, "I love you too." So yeah, no, it's a real it's still a great match and a great moment, and with these 2 sort of larger than life superstars, who are, I think once in a generation people that I don't think you will kind of sort of see it again. Like, I mean, it's probably the closest was like John Cena, and I don't think he sort of came to that level, but it was the closest. But it was still really good, and Rock's entertaining as usual, being heel. I'm starting to come around to the idea that I think Rock is a heel better than a babyface.
I mean, it's close because he was a hell of a babyface too, man. You go back and watch like 2000 Rock, like when he was just on fire as a babyface, and dude, it's something else too, man. Like, so I don't know, which one's which, but Jacob, what do you think of Rock Austin here?
No, this one is also really good. I think this is the second example of the night where you could put these two together and you're not going to get a bad match. Say the same for Jericho and Michaels, and then say the same for our main event as well.
Yeah, right.
So, no, really good stuff here. I love, highly entertaining. The Rock as a heel is just really good. That stuff with the vest, like I love that stuff. Just a really good match from start to finish. And a nice way to cap off their WrestleMania trilogy.
Yeah, for sure. JPO, thoughts on Rock Austin 3 at WrestleMania here?
That's another match I love. This is another right on that list of it's such a good match here. It might honestly be my personal favorite of the three, just because I just think it's just like there's no shenanigans. There's not, you know what I mean? It's just these two just having a fantastic match here. And you know what I mean? And again, like we said, the Mania on WrestleMania or whatever, you find out like Austin came from a hospital, like almost makes you respect it more because it's such a good match. Like you would never know that the first time you watch it, you know what I mean? Or watching it even now, you can guess that because it's a great match here too. These are wrestling match wise, maybe again, they're kind of right at like their peak to a degree, you know what I mean? So this is good stuff.
Yeah, for sure. No, great stuff here. And we still have our main event here to come as Michael Cole starts to lose his voice here as he sets up, clearly losing his voice here. But, can't blame him. It's WrestleMania. You do what you do. We got the champion Kurt Angle taking on Brock Lesnar with the added stipulation via Stephanie McMahon that if Angle gets DQ'd or counted out or if anybody interferes on his behalf, he will also lose the title. So kind of guaranteeing that we get a straight up one-on-one encounter here and a winner. As I said, Kurt Angle versus Brock Lesnar. Your main event here tonight. These guys, as you would think, start out a little chain wrestling, some back and forth, fireman's carries and holds and takeovers and leg takedowns, all kinds of great wrestling back and forth as you would think with these two, tremendous wrestlers here. A couple shoulder blocks from Lesnar as he starts to take over just a little bit. But Brock Lesnar working a little bit of a rib injury here, so Angle goes to work on the ribs to try to slow him down. Lesnar tries to hit his shoulder thrusts in the corner to slow Angle down a little bit back, but catches an elbow. But he hits a big power slam on Kurt Angle. And then there's a German suplex to Brock from Kurt, but Brock is up really, really quickly as Angle can't keep the big man down. Angle then goes back to the ribs with some kicks and stomps there, but Brock Lesnar fully gorilla press slams Angle. Very impressive there, picking up Kurt Angle, showing his strength. Brock runs into some more boosts to the ribs there, but Angle German suit. They did a cool spot where they were kind of near the turnbuckle, and Angle Germans Brock into the top turnbuckle, and Brock took a really cool kind of bump off the top turnbuckle there. It looked really cool, just a pretty cool little version of the German suplex there. Angle then on the outside starts pounding on Brock, really putting him to it here. Hits a side suplex in the ring for a 2, another vertical suplex for a 2, puts him in a bow and arrow submission, a really long bow and arrow submission, really trying to work those ribs. Transitions into a choke, trying to get the tap out here, but he can't get it. Lesnar then carries Kurt, trying to fight back, carries him into the turnbuckles, but Kurt fights back with a huge overhead belly-to-belly suplex, once again taken back over. Hits some knees to the back of Lesnar, again trying to put the work on the back and the ribs. Lesnar rolls to the outside. They fight out there for just a minute. Back in, Brock is able to hit a standing spine buster to turn the tables a little bit. Brock hits a big flying forearm, a clothesline, hits his own overhead belly-to-belly suplex, damn near throws Kurt Angle halfway across across the ring. Hits a second one right after that. But these guys trading suplexes here as Kurt fires back and hits his own German suplex, and 3 more on top of that, 4 German suplexes to the big man, rolling Germans here. Goes for the angle slam to cap it off, but Brock counters into an F5 attempt, but Angle rolls out of that and locks on the ankle lock, trying to get the tap out here, but he switches over to the half crab instead, trying to work, again, the back and the ribs, but he can't get the tap out here as Brock gets to the ropes. Kurt rushes Brock, but he gets backdropped over the ropes all the way to the floor. Back into the ring. Both guys are struggling. Kurt, there's a standing switch, and Kurt hits a huge release German suplex where Brock flips all the way over onto his stomach. That was an awesome, awesome spot. He just totally Germans him into like basically a backflip and lands. A crowd pops huge for that. I wrote that was fucking awesome. I think Brock and Kurt and Chris Benoit did kind of a similar spot in that Royal Rumble match where it was kind of that release overhead German suplex there. So he hits that, and then he's able to follow up with a huge angle slam, but he only gets a 2 count off the angle slam. He tries another pin attempt, but Brock fires up and hits a quick F5, but Brock kicks out a 2, which they note on commentary, I think was the first time anybody had ever kicked out of an F5. Here was Kurt Angle kicking out of this F5 in this matchup, so pretty impressive. Crowd pop for that. They hadn't seen that yet. So he picks up Kurt Angle, but Kurt's able to pull another ankle lock, and this time grapevines the legs on the ground. Brock really struggling here, but he's able to pull Angle all the way over to the ropes and breaks it up. He kicks off Kurt Angle as he goes for the ankle lock again, tries another F5. Angle pulls him into a small package, but only gets a 2. He tries another angle slam, but then Brock is able to counter that into another F5, the second F5. And then infamously, Brock goes up to the top rope, goes for the shooting star press, gets almost all the way over, and then lands right on his head as Kurt Angle was just a little too far away in the ring. He should have pulled him a little bit closer to the turnbuckle, and he probably would have hit this thing, but he nastily
combination of that. It's a combination of that, and he slipped. He slipped on the rope.
Slipped a little bit, yeah, and but he was also Kurt was really far away across the ring, like a little more than halfway across the ring, just really, really far. But he lands on his head. Kurt Angle kind of realizing what happened, because I'm pretty sure that was supposed to be the finish. Like from what I can tell, that probably would have been the pin there. But Angle kind of rolls him up really quick, and just instinctually, because as we will find out later, Brock was pretty much out, like damn near knocked out from this, and doesn't remember anything. But Brock still instinctually kicks out, and then they get back up, and Brock's able to pick him back up, hit another F5 on Kurt Angle, and gets the 3 count despite the injury. Hits the 3 count, gets the finish there, and your new WWE champion is Brock Lesnar. And as noted, I think they had to force Brock Lesnar to go to the hospital. Paul basically had to force him into an ambulance afterwards for some of the behind the scenes thing. He was just out on his feet. He doesn't remember kind of anything that happened in that last part of that match, but he had a concussion out of that one, and but Paul was able to convince him to go to the hospital and get checked out. But still a hell of a match, as these guys always had. JPO, what'd you think of this main event here? These 2 guys always killing it, and definitely killing it here.
Fuck yeah, no, it's another one, man. That's why I love this Mania too. This is a great main event. This is a great match. Trivia wise, it's the first main event where it's 2 dudes and their real names. Up until now we had, Hulk Hogan, Warrior, even Shawn Michaels is a fake name,
Triple H.
Triple H. So this is the first Mania of these 2. In fact, I'm pretty sure it's stuff like this that actually kind of inspired me to do amateur wrestling, because I would start amateur wrestling a few months later after this, because between these 2 and Benjamin and Haas, I was like, oh, there is a correlation. You know what I mean? And definitely, and that's why I went to started wrestling with the Stingray. I think wrestling.
I started recently because of Gable Steveson. Oh, he was my inspiration.
Wait, you just started?
No, I'm just kidding. I wrestled in high school.
I love that.
He's my inspiration. He's my hero.
I picture Pez just showing up to middle schools like, all right, guys, I'm in. Where the fuck?
Like Kramer fighting kids at the karate class. Just like, all right, kids, let's go. Let's start wrestling.
So I think it's a great match here. I don't even like the ending. Obviously, I feel bad for Brock because he does legitimately get cuckooed, but like it doesn't take me out of the match because, like you said, he's able to pick himself up, get that F5 in, and wrestling's messy sometimes. You know what I mean? I try to keep that in my mind when there's botches, if you will, but it's like, yeah, there's botches in fights. Ever had a real life fight? Not everything you do is perfect. Right. So, and the fact that he was even able to do as much of a rotation as he did, and he take a shot, I still give him nothing but credit. You know what I mean? Like that doesn't take me out of it at all. Other than I feel bad for him. You know what I mean? But yeah, this is a great match. There's another reason this is I think a top notch Mania because this is the third if not fourth time where I'm like I love this match.
Yeah, for sure, Richie.
Yeah, this is one of my favorite matches ever to watch. But yeah, I almost like it. It sucks with the about the shooting star press. I'm glad he ended up being okay in the end, but it kind of adds to the match. So yeah, and if you go to if you look on Brock would make appearances on WWE Metal and stuff before he'd officially make his debut, and he has hit that shooting star press.
No, I mean, there's footage of him hitting it in OVW and stuff. He's hit it perfectly, in that full rotation that he does. Yeah, I think that was supposed to be the finish. And hey, if he would have hit it, it would have been a spectacular finish. You know what I mean? Hit the big shooting star, boom, 3 count, crowd would have gone nuts. You know what I mean? I think it would have been a moment either way, for sure.
Yeah. So yeah, and I think these two just match up really well together. They have kind of similar background. So it was great. It's great. If Kurt Angle wasn't so banged up towards the end, I would have been a proponent for Brock to be his last opponent. But I feel like Brock would be a bit too rough. But but anyone.
Yeah, Jesus, hell no, Richie. The way Angle was towards the end, do not put him in there with
Brock. No, I said no. But if he wasn't so banged up, and what was the shell before himself? But just to be better, the better call.
Well, speaking of banged up, quick note as well. I think Kurt Angle basically dropped the title here as well because I think he went off and had a neck surgery right after this, and he was out for a little bit.
Yeah. I think
isn't he even the GM after this for a minute?
Well, while he's recovering, I think so. Yeah,
I think he doesn't actually show up as a wrestler until I think June, July, where he comes back at Vengeance and actually takes the title off Brock in the triple threat match.
Yeah. That triple threat match is really good, by the way. With them two and Big Show, it's actually really, really good.
Yeah,
the match is awesome.
Yeah, so and he comes back as a babyface, and then Brock turns heel later on. So these two have really good chemistry, and it's great. It's back and forth between this and the Shawn Michaels Jericho match of the you can tell why this is the one of the heralded as one of the better manias, but it's great.
Yeah, Jacob, your thoughts on this hell of a main event here?
Yeah, I think this is a great way to end the show. Just the starting off with the chain wrestling. I think they both had some really good spots. They looked great. They were just, they were in sync with each other. I think I can't remember them having a bad match ever. I think this might be my favorite of theirs.
I still love the Iron Man match. That Iron Man match is fucking great. It's so good. Yeah, it's just really, really good. But anyways, it's still all good.
Exactly. Like I said, put these two in the ring together and give them 15, 20 minutes, and you're gonna get something special. So great way to end. Yeah, certainly. What a way to cap off a first year for Brock. You win the title at one of what's considered to be one of the better WrestleManias in history. So good for him.
I always loved that Iron Man because I remember myself always thinking why doesn't someone just use a chair, lose a point, but then that would probably get you several points, and then finally fucking happen.
And when he does it,
that's what he does in that way. Yeah, sacrifice one, but
I did that in a video game once. I did it. It cost me a point, but then the guy was in red territory. I was like, sweet, fucking
It's a quick way to get him in the red and then beat him a bunch of times. In a row. Yeah, no, it works. Let's wrap it up here with our scores out of 10, and we'll go around here just overall thoughts on this WrestleMania here, and where it ranks for you, maybe even overall as far as WrestleManias in history go. So, Jacob, I know this is one of your favorites as well. So, hit me.
Yeah, it is my favorite. And looking back, I can fast forward through all the Billard Light stuff, and the commentary during the Triple H Booker T match just bring it down just a little bit. I'm not going to give it a 10 out of 10 because I don't think anything's. There's always a little gripe I have with. I haven't seen that 10 out of 10 yet. I think it's coming. I'm holding out hope, but this is like a solid like 9.5 for me. I absolutely love this show. I think the Undertaker A-Train Big Show match is a little slow, but everything else on the match is very, very solid.
Yeah.
So
yeah, Richie.
Yeah, I really love this WrestleMania. I think like the sort of because I wasn't sure. Like I was pretty sure like I like 17 better, and I had to, but I hadn't watched this one in a while, and watching this I still like 17 better. I just the atmosphere and the over. I think there's barely any sort of fast forwardable moments as far as this one goes, but it's still very, very good and still one of the top WrestleManias of all time. But just not like the tippity top, but it doesn't have. They're not always going to reach that level. So like I think a solid 9. Just the only thing that bringing it down is what Jacob just mentioned, the whole storyline, the whole booking of the Triple H Booker T match, and then just the pointless Miller Lite cat fight bullshit, and and maybe only slightly maybe the booking of the opening match, but that's they still had a good match. So, but so I'll give it about a 9.
Yeah, JPO, where's this one ranked for you?
Yeah, this one's tough. I mean, as far as the ranking, it's my first, if not second, favorite Mania here. It's one that I kind of can bounce back and forth on. But again, as far as the rating, oh man, I'll probably agree with the 9.5. I mean, again, on a pay-per-view where I would say the worst match, I'd say 2 stars, and then there's 3 that are 4.5, if not 5. Like I'm not that picky. I'll probably, me personally, they're 5 stars because I don't know. I'll let go a couple small things when almost everything else works. And I think it's there. This is a fantastic roster too. When you just look at the names, and it's a really good show.
Yeah, no, I'm with you guys on the kind of 9.5 territory. Yeah, again, probably my second favorite Mania right behind. Just 17 just has that epic feel to it. The build up to everything, the TLC, the fact that you have JR and Paul Heyman on commentary, one of my favorite kind of short-lived commentary teams for 9 months. They have great chemistry on that show and elevate that. Even the stuff like the gimmick battle royals fun because you have Bobby Heenan on commentary having a good time with it. You have good stuff on that show where it's a good time. But this one's right there behind it. It's great. A few nitpicks aside here with the booking of the Triple H match and the cat fight stuff, whatever. I mean, you can quickly. This show moves quickly. It goes fast, and the matches that are great, like you said, JPO. When you have like 4 matches that are in 4-star and above territory, that's a good pay per view. Anytime you have that, that's a good show. You're having a good time, especially because the back half is all filled with that stuff. So you just build up to it, and then you keep delivering kind of one after another. So it's really, really great stuff. So I enjoy it very much as well. So good stuff there. I know we're going long, but it's big for WrestleMania. We're doing what we got to do for WrestleMania. Having a good time.
This is going to end up being as long as the fucking Mania.
Yeah, I know. We'll get through these predictions.
Well, hopefully, just one of the nights, not. Bye.
Yeah, right. Well, I'm not going to watch all of the kickoff shows, so I'm going to try to skip most of that.
Welcome to Lonely Mark Presents Tournament.
It's a 2-hour kickoff, by the way, and I don't know if there's 0 matches announced. So I don't know if it's just 2 hours of bullshit.
I think it's 2 hours of bullshit. Although I think CM Punk alluded in the Arrow Hawani thing that he might be on a lot of the kickoff stuff, so that could be at least interesting. But
he did the same thing. He did that recently. Doesn't really add too much, and now it's just CM Punk adding bullshit.
I'm going to take a quick piss break, but JPO, kick it off with the first one. I'll be right back, I promise. So, but go ahead and kick things off here.
Well, hold on. Pez, come back.
Yeah.
I just want to ask everybody real quick. Yeah. Do you want to do, real quick as a bonus, the Andre Battle Royal? That's like a tiebreaker.
Oh, yeah, because it hasn't happened yet. So it happens tomorrow night.
It's on SmackDown.
Do we know everybody that's in it?
Yeah, I was going to say, I can run it off real quick for you. Cedric Alexander, Ashanti Adonis, Kit Wilson, Elton Prince, Cameron Grimes, Veer, Zanga, Julius Creed, Brutus Creed, Ivar, Akira Tozawa, Otis, JD McDonough, Apollo Crews, Andrade, Ricochet, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed, Shinsuke Nakamura, and Omos. So those are your 20 in that. That's real quick. Who might walk away with that of them?
You know what? He's been getting a push really lately, and they might cap it off with it. I'm going to say Ricochet takes this one. He's been getting a hell of a push lately, and I could see them capping it off with a win here in the Battle Royal. So yeah, I'll be right back. I promise.
Yeah, you're good. We're good. United got a solid winner too. Yeah. So I feel like it's kind of down to like 5 or 6 people here. Barber.
Give me Andrade.
Alrighty, Richie.
So yeah, I'm talking between two. I'm talking between a few. Andrade was on the list for sure. They are giving a big push to Ivar lately as well, and Ivar has shown to be a really good singles guy. But I'm also going to go with the guy who's getting a big push lately. I'm going to go with Chad Gable. I think he's going to be a really good. He's due for a really good big singles push, and this could be like a step in that direction. So I'm going to go Chad Gable.
Yeah, I think kind of like a lot of rumbles here. This is kind of it really is only, I think, a few realistic possibilities outside like a dark horse. Jacob, you got my second here. I think an Andrade win could make sense. He's kind of just back and needs kind of a big win. But I'm going with Richie here. I think it's going to be a Chad Gable possibility. I think Chad Gable could easily slide into a future Gunther/Sami Zayn opponent, either way. And again, as far as like push wise, he makes sense to walk away with a big W, kind of like Bobby last year. Bobby kind of got the like sympathy, like, hey, we couldn't do the Bray match, so Bobby, you get this. And hey, Chad, we didn't really have anything for you, so Chad, you'll get this. So just a quick rundown, Pez. Got Andrade, 2 Chads, and a Ricochet for the.
Okay, who had Andrade?
I had Andrade.
You have Andrade. You and JPO and Richie had.
We are the Chads.
The Chad
Gable. And I could see all 3 of these people.
No, I can see all 3 of these for sure.
They're all,
those are the top 3. That I had to pick from.
Ricochet's been kind of re-brought up as maybe a hot thing. I believe he won on Speed this week. If anyone watches Speed,
I did.
It only takes like 5 minutes. 2 matches.
It's WWE's version of Quibi Speed,
and there will. Supposedly a Speed champion, so that'll be a fun title that'll last 6 months to a year. Anywho, so that's on there. Yeah, I think there's only so many people. Maybe Shinsuke, and then like you said, Ivar maybe, and then other than that, I don't think anyone has a shot.
Yeah.
Going to the main card, night 1. These are on day order. 6-person tag. We got Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill making her kind of normal match debut here against Damage Control, your tag champs Asuka, Io, and Dakota Kai. Barber.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna have Jade lose in her sort of like debut match. I know the Rumble, but that's different. I mean, I don't think you have her lose in her first big match. And I think this could set up Jade and maybe one of them as a future contenders for the tag team championships. So I'll go with Bianca, Naomi, and Jade.
Richie.
Yeah, I'm pretty much the same. Dakota looks weird in that photo. She looks really nervous to be in that photo. But yeah,
which I do think Dakota takes the pin. I'm calling that now.
I just don't. It'd be so. Yeah, maybe if like Vince is still running this, then I wouldn't put it past him to lose. But Jade is the first pay-per-view match, first big match, so you don't have them lose. Like I could see, either combination going for the tag titles later, as a fallout from this. So easily Bianca, Naomi, and Jade.
I almost want to play devil's advocate here because the only other possibility I see is Jade, like after she does a couple of cool things, walking out and being like, fuck you guys, I don't need you. And like maybe give it Damage Control because Damage Control could have a nice win. They are the tag champs. But to me, one of the safer bets of the weekend, maybe the safest bet, is just simply having Bianca, Naomi, and Jade pick up the win. Jade's first real match. A big win for Naomi too, to a degree, her first, kind of big match since her return. So I think so far we're in agreement. But Pez, are you with us, or are you going?
I'm gonna clean sweep it. Yeah, I don't see Jade going under in this first kind of debut thing. I will go as far as say she gets the win. She gets like the big pin here, for her debut. Because, like you said, Vince isn't there anymore, so we'll actually put the person debuting over pretty big, I think, and go with that.
All right, so we're all in agreement here. Glad we had a tiebreaker. Tag team match here. You have a bit of Legado, a bit of Judgment Day, and Dominic and Santos Escobar versus LWO, Rey Mysterio, and not Carlito, but Dragon Lee. All right, Richie.
Yeah.
It is curious why Carlito's not in this match. I don't like. He's sort of just been a part. I don't know.
This is the better match, if I'm being honest. So
yeah, I am too. I think Carlito can still go, but Dragon Lee is amazing. Yeah, but it is weird that the bigger feud is. I don't know that. Yeah. Anyway, it's weird that they're running the Dominic thing back, but it makes me think because Ray's also said it in an interview. I mean, apparently Ray pushed for Dominic to win their last the match last year, and Ray ended up winning. So I think Dominic and Santos can get the win here, and maybe Dominic pins Ray, and that's kind of because Ray doesn't have he's been open about like not having much long left in his career, and I think it's a kind of a passing of the torch thing. So yeah, I'm going with Dominic and Santos.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm gonna double that up as well here. I kind of wish this was maybe like a 4 or an 8/10 man tag. I wish the rest of LWO and Legado got in on this, but and then they could have still put Dominic as like the 5th member if they wanted to do that. But I mean, it only seemed kind of random because it definitely felt like they were going a certain way, and then like in the last week they were like, and Dominic's in this shit too. So and because like you said, not regardless of whether or not Ray wanted Dominic to win, I still just think booking wise it makes sense that okay, if you are doing this again, now you should give Dominic the win, because if you're just going to job Dominic out twice, that doesn't help really anybody here. So I think Santos and Dominic pick up the W. Pez?
Yeah, I'm more thinking about the overall card here, in that I think we're going to see a lot of baby faces go over on night one, maybe other than like 2 matches. I mean, we'll get to the other one later. So I think this is one where the heels can go over, and I think it'll be okay. And yeah, you'll still keep Dominic, at least, like you guys said, Ray went over last year. I think you could easily have Dominic over this year and then set up for another singles match, maybe down the line, between the two. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Dominic and Santos as well, and you can have the heels go over in this one, and that's okay.
Yeah, it is smart logic though sometimes to think about the overall heel and face wins, because as a booker, I've done that before where sometimes I'm like, this could go either way. Let me look. We have a lot of heels going over. All right, the face.
I'm thinking about the other matches here on night one, and I'm thinking you're gonna get I don't know. We'll get to it. As we get to the card.
Yeah. No. I'm just saying I know what you mean, but like sometimes the deal breaker
sometimes you got to balance it out just a little bit.
Yeah. We gotta have some heels fucking win this,
Yeah,
so,
right.
Barber, what you got? You're gonna clean sweep it or disagree?
Another clean sweep. Nope, it's another clean sweep for all the reasons you guys mentioned.
Yeah.
I also think that the reason like Dominic is like kind of just put in here the last minute is like apparently, if you believe apparently Dominic was penciled in to face Brock Lesnar. Obviously, Brock Lesnar on the card, so like, we need something for Dominic to do.
Yeah.
So.
I'll believe that when I fucking when I hear Brock or fucking Dominic say that. We got the brothers fighting Jay and Jimmy Yeet versus No Yeet. Shit, I wanted to go last on this one. I should have worked this. Wait, is it Richie next anyway? Yeah, Richie's next. Haha, good. I'm not at first. Richie go.
I went first last time, didn't I?
You did go first last time, but
damn it. All right. So, because I don't see like here's another one where I'm like I could see because I feel like who's Yeet? Jay, okay. Sometimes I forget who's who. So I can see Jay, obviously, he's been kind of positioned as the bigger star here. Jimmy's been kind of still kind of treated as the orange-haired stepchild in Bloodline. Maybe give him the win and then continue the feud over at Backlash. Like I'm tempted to say that. And with Bloodline losing a lot, which a prediction, I think they'll lose some matches. That one. I'm going to go with... I'm going to go with Jimmy. I'm going to go with Jimmy taking this. What do you got, Pez?
Yeah, this one's a little trickier to call than you might think, because, your heart might say, like, Jay gets the big victory or Mania, Yeet, all that, all that. But, you also think storyline-wise, maybe the bloodline kind of dominate here all night. But I could also see a scenario where Jay, I think, gets the victory here, but they like lay him out after the match so he has no involvement in night 2 or something. Where Solo comes in and maybe fights off Solo to get the victory, but then they like obliterate him after the match or something. You know what I mean? Like I something like that, but it's still hard to call because you could have the same thing, but Jimmy wins. You know what I mean? So like it's tricky, but I'm gonna say Jay gets the victory, but some shenanigans happen either during or after. That's all I'll say. Yeah.
All right, so we're split off here, and I realized why I thought it was Rich again because it was we had the Battle Royal I was trying to have a photo of because I was like, wait, Matt actually happened next.
Yeah.
Barbara, what you got?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could see it going either way, but I'm gonna go with Jay to get the victory here. I think he's just over right now, and so that's my logic because that's what tipped it. Because I could see it going either way. Pez, forgive me. Who'd you go with again?
Jay.
He's also with you and Jay.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Richie, you with Yeet or no Yeet?
This was. I think it gets the predictions get pretty difficult from here on out, for the most part, and this is very tough. I could see it going either way. Yeah, look, to kind of make things interesting, I'll go no Yeet with you because I think maybe I think obviously Jay's got a lot of steam right now, but I think Jimmy kind of needs some of that too, and that could build up to because I don't think the feud's going to be over just after this match. I think they're going to have maybe a couple more, one at Backlash. Even though it's not full on rematches now, it's not WrestleMania Backlash, but I still feel like they're going to have I don't think the feud's over, so I think this will lead to a bigger match down the line. So I'll go Jimmy, but it could go either way.
Mm-hmm.
We are evenly split between the brothers.
Yeah.
All right, we got your big ass ladder match here as we have 12 men. We got Miz and R-Truth, the Awesome Truth. We got was it A-Town Under or whatever?
A-Town Down Under.
A-Town Down Under. Yeah.
Waller and Austin Theory. The new Catch Republic. Pete Dunne, Not Butch, and Tyler Bate. We have D-Generation X, Triple H, and we have DIY with Johnny Gargano and Tommaso Ciampa. We got The New Day, Xavier Woods, and Kofi Kingston, and your reigning defending double champs, Finn Balor and Damian Priest. And this could be where the predictions get really weird.
Yes.
Pez?
Yeah, I know, because Michael Cole, when we talked about it before you got here, Michael Cole made it very clear, specifically said this match does not end until all 4 belts are off the hook.
Yeah.
So we could have a situation where one team grabs all the belts. We could have a team where, a team grabs one set of belts and another team grabs another set of belts. So
do we want to do it where, again, there's 2 points on the line? And if you think, let's just, as an example, if I say Judgment Day wins it all, that get 2 points. If I say Judgment Day and DIY win it, and they both win it, I get 2. You know what I mean? Do we put 2 points on the line for this match? What do we do?
I don't know. I say you just go all in on something or other. You either go all in on 2 teams, or you go all in on a team, or whatever, and you either get the points or you don't.
I just think it could be in case we're tied or whatever, it could be a thing. It could be a point of difference at the end of the day. But maybe
because if you pick 2 teams and one of them wins, but the other one doesn't,
I would say you could do 1 point per team. However, if you think one team is going to win both and they don't, they only win one, then I think you don't get the point.
Well, that seems a bit lopsided.
So that's the risk you take.
Okay. Well, let's just put it out there. I think we all are going to guess 2 teams. Are we not?
I was going to. Yeah.
I'm going to guess 2 teams. So how about this? We're all going to guess 2 teams.
So then it's just right.
If we do that, you get 1 point per team. If you guess both of them right, you get 2 points.
Or we do ASAP rules. Or we could do ASAP rules. If whoever gets 1 team, if that's the most that's right, they get the point. If somebody gets 2 and whoever gets 2, Yeah, let's do ASAP rules.
Okay, we can do ASAP rules for this. I'll note that in my thing here. ASAP
So
rules. And I don't know what
I
that means.
say
Okay.
New Day and DIY and they both win. Then
He said New Day.
Yeah.
No, have it on record. He said New Day DIY. Okay.
I'm not even going first. Someone beat Richie.
I'm up first, right?
This is you.
Yeah. No, this is tricky because I can see a lot of scenarios here. I'm just gonna go with the workhorses. I think are gonna put on the best match if they win and split off. So that's literally like my only logic here. My only thing I think is that the Judgment Day are dropping the titles here so that Damien can focus on other ventures because it's about time for them. I don't see New Day doing it just because like we've seen that a million times, and Awesome Truth is kind of a little more gimmicky, and A-Town Down and them are jobbers. So I'm going to go DIY and New Catch as my two teams getting belts here.
New Catch. Fun fact, New Day has never walked out of Mania as champs. Just throwing it out there, Jacob.
Okay.
I too will go with New Catch Republic. I think they could kind of carry the division on SmackDown for a while, but I do see Awesome Truth walking out with the other set of titles. I think R-Truth is due for just a big WrestleMania moment, and seeing him take down one of the titles would just be awesome. So I'm gonna go with awesome.
It could make for some fun segments with Truth as a champion, with running around with the belt. Like it could be some new fun stuff. Yeah, I can see that.
All right, Richie, what you thinking? You got two teams.
See, I don't fully classify A-Town Down Under as jobbers. So I'm gonna go. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna go. I agree with you about Awesome Truth. I think they're heading in that direction. I think it's good for. I think R-Truth had his moment. Like sort of his last trial before he goes into other things. And for like maybe winning the SmackDown, or hey, maybe they win the Raw titles. But for the other team that's winning belts, I'll say A-Town Down Under. I think like you'll need I think you need a babyface, and in my opinion, like just for dynamics, babyface and a heel team winning, and a heel team winning, it could kind of work. So I'll say A-Town Down Under win that, and then that they're more of a focus. That they do lose a bit, but they are featured heavily on SmackDown, so I feel like they'll be featured more promptly going forward because they do tend to like them because at least that they do have a lot of upside A-Town Down Under. So I'll go them. I think they work well as a team.
Okay.
Well, I said rule-wise, with Barbara and Pez, you guys had as different teams, right? Slightly.
Yeah, we had slightly because we both had New Catch, but I had DIY and he had Awesome Truth, so we're still different here. Yeah.
So nobody's getting the point by themselves because I don't think anyone has. Oh no, they could get the point by themselves. Technically, they're just one and no one has zero. No one's getting a clean sweep, I think, because or we're not tying rather. Because I'm gonna go with a couple different setups as well. I'm gonna go with R-Truth and Miz, Awesome Truth as one of my teams. I think Truth's been kind of an MVP on TV. I think taking it off of Judgment Day, at least part of it, will play into their storyline. And then I'm gonna go with DIY actually as my second team here. I think they're Triple H's boys. I think they're fantastic. I think potentially too, like I don't know if whoever wins has got to go on SmackDown or at least stay on SmackDown. I think you put them over on SmackDown. They can have some great matches with Pretty Deadly and some of the other teams that are on there. New Catch again, if them would have some great matches. So I feel like as far as who kind of deserves it has been around for a while. Those two teams make sense. But yeah, this is a fun one that could go a lot of different ways.
All right.
So I think just about everybody except is it poor New Day? Did no one say New Day?
No one said New Day.
No one said New Day, and no one said Judgment. No days.
And no one said New Day. Yeah.
No days.
So,
no days.
What's New Day?
A little bit of a thought and love for everyone else.
Yeah. Watch New Day and Judgment Day win. You're like, oh, well, fuck me.
Fuck me. God damn it.
that would be funny. Yeah. Intercontinental title on the line. Gunther, Sami Zayn, Barber.
Yeah. I like the story that they've kind of been building with Sami. Again, this is one that I could see going either way. But the whole time I thought going into WrestleMania, Gunther was gonna drop the title and face the world champion, the world heavyweight champion. But I kind of want to see this reign continue, so I'm gonna go with Gunther.
Richie, Gunther, Zayn.
Yeah, I'm torn because I wouldn't mind it seeing continue. I could see it continuing, but like there's that semi underdog story, and then you've got that Chad Gable's in the wings as well. I don't know where they're going to fit him, like going down the road, or whether it's because he's still got unfinished business with Gunther. So I mean, just to sort of, they always do this underdog story with Sami Zayn. Hopefully, it doesn't have diminishing returns, but I mean, I know it's probably super to bid against Gunther, but just for the sake of difference, and I could see it happening, I'll go Sami Zayn.
Yeah, no, I think it's fair to say this one could potentially go either way here. The build's been pretty decently in the last few weeks here. I've even enjoyed the Chad Gable, Rocky kind of, coach and Zayn. I'm going to go with Gunther retaining, though, here, his IC title. I think, Zayn had a great WrestleMania moment last year, so it's not like the dude never gets wins. And I don't know, I'm just kind of a little more intrigued by, we're ending a big reign with Roman. I'd say we keep Gunther's reign going, though, or at least, my prediction anyway. Spoiler. So I'm going to say Gunther. Guess where I'm going to go later. Pez.
I think they've got a good thing going here with Gunther being undefeated and staying undefeated. And I think he could even retire the championship undefeated as he moves on to the world heavyweight title and whatnot, going into that match undefeated. And then that being a story, challenging for a world heavyweight. Hey, he's been undefeated in all these matches. He's unbeatable. And going into the world heavyweight title eventually. And I think you just keep that going.
Maybe you do the match and then maybe do that match at Bash at Berlin or whatever that is,
something like that. Yeah, because I could see, man, it'd be really great for that Berlin thing. Gunther and Ilya Dragunov would be fucking awesome at Bash in Berlin. Wouldn't that be goddamn great? Them yelling at each other in German like they did in that one match, just the whole time. Fuck me, that would be great. So, all right. I'll go with my original prediction a year ago. Ilya Dragunov wins this match. No, I'm just kidding. Gunther wins.
Cash is imaginary money in the bank.
Yeah, yes. But god damn it, who wouldn't want to see Gunther Ilya 3 in Berlin? That would be fucking great, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I think the more, and also too, to kind of continue off of Gunther, the more interesting story too is him either retiring the title or really giving it to somebody that could jet set their future. Same kind of, he said already. You know what I mean? Yeah. So why end this reign just to give it to Zayn? I don't know. If he lost to Gable, if this was Gable, I actually think I'd be more inclined to say Gable might walk away the winner, but Zayn got the match. So 1 for Zayn, but we got 3. They're going into your women's championship or the women's world championship, basically what they're called. Mommy, Rhea Ripley against Becky Lynch, who is an actual mommy. So, Richard?
This is really tough as well. Again, the build-up to this was annoying because they basically told you this match was happening before the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah.
Which is pretty, and it's probably Rhea's biggest match since she won the title. It's a big marquee match. I just think that I know Becky is probably the big sort of the biggest woman as far as personality we've had in a long time, and but I also think that the same about Rhea, and I think she's just that hot commodity at the moment. I actually wouldn't be surprised in this match. I know the babyface heel dynamic is Rhea's heel technically, and Becky Lynch's babyface, but I think Becky Lynch, there's a good possibility Becky Lynch will probably get booed in this match. I think even though it's been a long reign, it's sort of similar maybe to it's similar to what you were kind of saying by Gunther. I just don't think you you don't stop that momentum there at this point. I don't know. Again, maybe give it to someone who's build someone up. Becky Lynch doesn't need the title. I understand why she's having this moment, and it will kind of make Rhea into it will cement her legacy if she beats her. But I just don't see the need for Becky to win here. And there might actually be some backlash if there is, but hey, maybe they settle it at Backlash. There you go. But I'm gonna go Rhea.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I'm going with Rhea here. This is a great WrestleMania worthy match, but Becky doesn't necessarily need the win. I think if Rhea had this like killer year of defenses where she went through not just Nia Jax, but like maybe she had a match with Bianca or if Charlotte was around, or if they had done a Becky match once already, I would say maybe. But because Rhea's just kind of had this, I think, okay title reign, Selena Vega got the shot because she was in the right country. That's a knock on booking, not a knock on Selena. And then she had matches with Nia, but again, like you said, we were already promoting basically Rhea versus Becky before the Nia Jax match happened. Zoe Stark, she was kind of new, so I don't think anyone really believed she was going to take it. So
Ivy Nile on TV, but no one believed that she was going to
win. Yeah. So I think the fact that this will help solidify Rhea as a great, fantastic champion by having this big win over Becky. She has a lot more to gain from this win than Becky, again, who can get the title, like you said, at Backlash, at SummerSlam, in a year from now, whatever. Pez?
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Rhea. I think, some people might have thought her momentum would have tapered by now, but she's just as popular, if not even more now than she even was, like a few months ago. Like we saw that at Royal Rumble and all that, we saw that at Chamber. Like she's still on top of her game and even more popular like now. So I'm just going to say you stick with it and you keep it going. So I'm also going to go Rhea.
And Barbara to finish it out, with us or against us?
Same.
All right.
Fantastic. So sorry, the real mommy. We're going with this mommy.
Yeah. And my prediction last year of a Who's Your Mommy match between Rhea and Dominic did not come to fruition.
Picture is always next year. Your main event of the night here, the Bloodline, The Rock, Dwayne Johnson teaming up with Joe, aka Roman Reigns, taking on Seth freaking Rollins and the American Nightmare. I believe we're on me now here again. I think you give The Rock his return win. I think, of course, the more interesting match is Bloodline Rules match on Sunday, because then you can have all your shenanigans. Cody Rhodes needs to go through hard times. Cody versus Roman in a normal match seems kind of boring, actually. So, let's have I think the Bloodline takes it, so that way hard times that it can continue until they finally don't continue. Bez?
Yeah, I think it's just the more interesting booking scenario because, you get Rock and Roman the win here. Yeah, you get Rock getting his hand raised. You have to stack the deck against Cody as much as you possibly can on night 2 for him to potentially, we'll talk about it, overcome the odds. We'll see. I'm not so sure anymore, actually, with all this booking, but we'll see. We'll talk about it in a few minutes. But yeah, I think that's the more interesting match because, JPO said it. Like, if you have just another standard singles match, that's pretty much what we had last year. So you got to spice it up a little bit here. You can have Rock on commentary, as he's talked about. For night 2, everybody out there, then maybe even have some surprises, people coming to Cody's aid and whatnot, have some interesting things happening. And plus, you just have the arrogance going into night 2. You could have them backstage just being overly confident. Hey, we whooped their asses last night. We're going to do the same or whatever. So, yeah, I'm going to say Bloodline here. Take it to make it more interesting on night 2.
Yeah. I mean, like my other quick idea too was like, what are you gonna do with The Rock? Just have him shown backstage watching a monitor on night 2? Like that's
no, he's gonna be out there on. He's already said he might be out there on commentary, especially if it's Bloodline Rules, just hanging out, keeping an eye on the situation firsthand. You know what I mean? Like,
that's what I'm saying.
And that would be super entertaining. Hollywood Rock on commentary. Fuck yeah, give me that on night 2. Absolutely.
Barbara, who you got?
For pretty much all the same reasons, I'm going to go with the Bloodline as well. You don't have Roman lose twice in one weekend.
Yeah.
And spoilers. Jeez, Barbara. And and Richie, do you acknowledge them or acknowledge the other?
Yeah, I'm going to clean sweep it here. I think there's just more intrigue in a Bloodline Rules match. Yeah, I think we already had the singles match between Cody and Roman with just your normal match, and so at least we're expecting sort of Bloodline interference and stuff like that. So it will make it sort of more special if Cody if Cody is to overcome the odds here. So, I will go. I'll go. Roman. The Bloodline.
I wasn't rushing you. I froze. So I just went to the next photo for the record.
I was like,
that wasn't me playing the Oscar music.
Yeah,
I can't tell my shit was.
By the way,
with that being said,
mom is in hospital. No, and I'm just sorry.
With that being said, though, we are done with night 1. We are on to night 2 here, so we're almost there. We got LA Knight versus AJ Styles here. Kind of your epitome of these two are really hot. We got to find a match for him, Pez.
Yeah, it's I mean, they pulled out and get these guys still on WrestleMania to a degree, so that's great. I mean, I think this will be a good match. Not like a show stealer, but I think it'll be solid. I just think LA hasn't had that big win yet. Like, at some of these things, he's been in these multi-man matches. He's been kind of lost in the shuffle a little bit. I think you finally give him kind of a big win here. And even though it's on an undercard, it's not for a title or anything, but at least give him that big win, pop the crowd. This is one where I think you could easily give it to a babyface and have them, their way to a victory. So I'll say LA Knight gets it here.
Barbara, did you say yeah or no?
No.
I'll say yeah. I think LA Knight, he needs he doesn't need, but I mean, I think he's due for a big victory, and I think a big victory over AJ Styles at WrestleMania is just what needs. Maybe a push towards the U.S. title. Start towards that.
Right now, Richie, are you going to third the yeah, or are you going to say nah?
No.
Yeah, I'm also gonna say because I think it'll be a good match. I don't think I think AJ's in that position now where he can just put people over. Like, it doesn't hurt AJ to lose. And I think he's he's already cemented himself as established. He's a legend. He's a future Hall of Famer. And he could always come back and still be a title contender before he hangs it up. But I think it'll just do more for LA Knight if he won. And he's coming off a couple of losses here, so he needs sort of some momentum, and you got to capitalize on that popularity. So LA Knight.
Initially I was gonna maybe give you the I'm gonna say that my first I'm gonna go AJ, and I'm gonna go the dark horse. 1, so I can maybe try to get a gain on you guys. 2, I'm also using future booking logic. If you go by titles, and if Cody does finish the story, Cody's got to be SmackDown, right? Because unless they're going to play around with titles, and you need some good challengers. I don't think Roman's fighting him in Backlash. Roman's going to probably disappear. I think Cody and AJ sounds pretty freaking dope to me, so I'm going to say AJ Styles gets a dark horse pick. One but most
Oh yeah.
6-person tag, or actually, I believe this is a street fight.
It's a Philadelphia street fight. Yeah.
There you go. Oh, you gotta have the city in there because that matters. That always bothers Miami. It's Philly, Chicago. It's the same shit. Just say street fight. That annoys me. Anywho, and Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins taking on Akam, Razor, AOP, and Karrion Kross.
What are they called?
I just forgot.
No, I had it pulled up here a second because I was looking up the card on my own little thing here.
Match cards, damn it!
No, the finals or whatever the fuck is the final testament. The final
testament. Pride.
Yeah.
Speaking of names, do the others have names? Is
Pride?
The Pride.
The Pride.
Is it really?
Pride.
What's that said?
I don't know, on Wikipedia.
Oh, okay. I thought they were going to be called the Almighties instead of just Mighty. But
can't say on Wikipedia if it's not true.
Final Testament. Barber, what you thinking with these 6?
I think to make up for not having Lashley on the card last year, they give him a victory. I'm not going to say big victory because this is just but it's a victory at WrestleMania. And there, Am I wrong?
No.
Baby, it's not. It's this. Anyhow.
It's not a big victory, but it's a victory.
No, you're wrong.
Reggie, who are you thinking?
I kind of Bobby Lashley looks like Virgil in that photo. But anyway, I don't know. He just looks like
you money. Fuck you, money.
I look. I might be silly here because of the way they book Karrion Kross at with Japan. You know, I can't. I'm confused as to whether they want to get them over or not. And I feel like these teams have been feuding for like 3 years. Just to pull the trigger on it. So I will go Final Testament here, or whatever they're called. So I to get the win. I think Karrion Kross needs all that. I'm confused as to whether they're trying to make him into a thing or not. I want to care about Karrion Kross. But they haven't given me a reason to care about Karrion Kross for ages. And I like AOP. I want to see them succeed. I don't know. So yeah, I'll go Final Testament.
Yeah, this one I'm glad you guys kind of split because I'm a little split into necessarily where to go myself here too because both teams really need it to a large degree here. I mean, Karrion Kross got brought back. A lot of people were happy that he was brought back because he shouldn't have been fired in the first place. But then he's kind of filtered off in the background to a large degree here. AOP's back now, but at the same time, like, this new group, the Pride, really hasn't really gotten off to the right foot either here. You know what I mean? They were kind of heels, and then the Street Profits kind of went back to just being the normal Street Profits, but now you got B-Fabs in there. So I'm going to go with the team that I think has a bigger potential future, which is the Pride. I think, again, Bobby has potential to get right into, a U.S. or world title pick. And also, now that we hopefully have the tag title split, Profits can get back to the tag title picture as well, that they really haven't been a factor in a minute. So I'm going to say the Pride here. A little bit split, though, Pez. Who you with?
I'm going to keep it split, and we'll go 2-2 here because I'm going to go with Authors and Karrion here, Final Testament. Yeah. You spoke about potential. I think they've got the bigger potential to be a bigger force going forward and to really do some damage. Can we all just stand back and appreciate the fact that Karrion Kross and the Authors of Pain have a WrestleMania match on the main card? That's pretty fucking cool, right? In general, like, that's pretty awesome.
Shows that was that like a year ago? They weren't even employed.
I mean, and I've always liked all those guys, so like that's pretty damn cool. You can tell there's a new regime here with some of these matches, like getting some of these guys not even on a kickoff show, on like a main card here, getting them on there. So I'll go with the
this match I thought always would make sense. I wasn't confident that they would get it though. I was afraid this was going to be like a SmackDown before Mania match.
Well, yeah, because they've been feuding for, like I said, for ages.
It's been a lot of backstage stuff though. Like they were supposed to have a match on SmackDown, but that ended up the bell never rang. That didn't count. There's one match between Bobby and Karrion solos that went to no contest, and I don't think there's ever been a straightforward tag match either. So like it's been a lot of just backstage and almost shenanigans. So this is the first time these 6 are fighting for the so that tracks.
Yeah.
Split on this one here. It's another one kind of hard to tell, which I like the fact that we're not quite sure. Triple threat match here. We got my cousin Kev Owens taking on Logan Paul, taking on Randy Orton. Another match where it's like, oh shit, we got to find a match for these 3. What you got, Richie?
I was hoping. Damn it, I'm going first.
This Kevin Owens picture looks fake.
It does. There's a lot of AI like kind of centric, not AI-ish posters out there that aren't necessarily AI that look kind of fake. There's one of CM Punk floating around. I'm like, that doesn't look like CM Punk. It's just tough because I could definitely see Logan winning. It's just a matter of is he going to be on every show? Because you don't want to, but yeah, I reckon potentially what you could have is I'm going to go Randy Orton, but he pins Kevin Owens, and that way you still keep Logan kind of strong, and he might set up a beef between a singles match down the road between Randy and Logan. So I'll go Randy Orton, but I can see it going. I guess it's still going either way, including Kevin Owens. So, but I'll go Randy Orton.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Randy is my second pick here. I think Owens is the third by a distance here.
Interesting.
Orton having a first big win here since his return, like solo, would be kind of cool. But I'm gonna go Logan Paul retaining the title here. So it's his second Mania singles match. He lost last year to Seth Rollins, so I could kind of see it being like, all right, now let's give Logan his first big win, singles wise at Mania here, solidify him too. Plus, defense wise, he's still kind of new with the title as well. So Actually, I won't look at that real quick. Let's see. Yeah, he's literally only had the defeat of Kevin Owens at the Rumble. So this would only be defense number 2. So what you got, Pez?
Yeah, I'm going to go with Logan retaining as well, not just because he's like one of my favorite wrestlers right now, and I just like watching him work. And I want him to keep, going with that title. But, also the fact that technically triple threats are no DQ, and the brass knucks could come into play legally here. And interference, all kinds of shenanigans could happen here. And I can see a lot of stuff going down. And he's having fun as champ. I think it's working. He can still do with other people. So, I can see Randy Orton stepping back up into the title picture realistically after this, and just staying in that higher than Logan on the card. So I'll say Logan retains.
It's like the Randy Orton's like 4th or 5th triple threat match at WrestleMania.
Yeah,
triple threats. Yeah. Jacob.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Randy Orton likes his WrestleMania triple threats.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's had more multi-man matches than he's had singles matches at WrestleMania. But anyway, I'm going to go with Logan to retain as well. Yeah, it's only a second defense. And yeah, I mean, get a big pin over, one of the greatest WWE superstars of all time in Randy Orton, I think would be a cool moment for his young career so far. So I'll go with Logan.
All right, so little bit of love for Randall Keith Orton, but the majority say Logan Paul's retaining, and my cousin Kev needs a better photo.
I think Kevin Owens needs to get Backlash.
Io Sky defending the women's championship against Hey, we want some Bayley. Who we at? I don't remember anymore. Me?
Maybe.
Sure. Why not?
Let's go with it. Unfortunately, I feel like I was a little hotter on this match back in January. I've been kind of cooled off by it here. I mean, they've continued to build on it. It's not like there's been nothing or anything, but it definitely isn't as hot as I would like it to be. I think really if that is simply because Io Sky is kind of hindered promo wise in America. So I think Bayley I think it's the moment we want to see. I think taking the title, giving it to her, I think it's just way more interesting and something I'd like to see. So I'm going to go with Bayley. Pez?
Yeah, I'm also going with Bayley. This might be one of the more easier ones to actually predict for me personally, like almost kind of a slam dunk. So, yeah, not much to say here. I'm just going to go. They'll just finally blow it off with Bayley. So, yeah.
And Jacob?
Yeah, I'm also going to go Bayley. Yeah, I think it's just what we want to see. And under this new regime, for the most part, they give us what we want to see. So give us Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
Richie, are you with us, or would you like us to triple team you like we did last match?
I'm gonna go Bayley here. I think like they've got something that as strong as that, like from the rest of the card, but like I'm still looking forward to the match. But yeah, I mean I could see a multi-person maybe damage control like match being spawned out of this, like like the more wrestling each other, or maybe like I don't know. I feel like there's sort of the hinging towards maybe her and Dakota Kai as a more bigger sort of thing. I don't know. I just feel like I think there's more to be invested as like Io chasing as opposed to being champion. So, and I think Bayley sort of deserves it at this point. So I'll go Bayley.
Mm-hmm.
All right, I agree that we all want some Bayley. All right, almost only 2 more to go.
No. There we go.
Yeah.
So I don't think Seth Rollins walks out of this match with the title. I think that's almost all but guaranteed. Double prediction: Drew wins. Damian cashes in right afterwards, and we and Damian and Drew start going at it, and we break Damian out of this Judgment Day scenario. So I'm going to say Drew wins the match and briefly wins the title and gets his little moment, only to have Damian come out and rip it right out from him, only to have down the line Drew win it back at Clash of the Castle 2. That's a triple prediction, I guess. So there you
go. Berber.
Yeah, I also think Drew wins, but I do think I also think we see a Damian Priest cash in. Don't forget CM Punk will be on commentary, I believe, for this match, and I think after the match we could see a little bickering back and forth between them, and then shenanigans, whatever. Damien comes out, cashes in, becomes champion. So yeah, but as far as my official prediction, it's gonna be Drew.
And Richie.
Yeah, I think this is all set up to be kind of perfect because, you have Drew beating Seth by whatever means, and then you have Damon cash in, beat Drew, and then he has reason to be very pissed off because I constantly get screwed out of the title. I come close, I constantly get screwed. This is bullshit, and and then he works his way up to finally getting the title from Damian Priest at Clash of Castle 2, and then that timeline probably works out because by that time, then CM Punk might be healthy, and then you finally do Drew and CM Punk.
Build up to that for SummerSlam or something, right?
Yeah.
So there you go.
So yes, I'm also going that scenario. I say Drew wins, but Damian retains.
It's how you also slowly turn Drew back babyface because he's technically a heel right now, but they almost want to cheer him because of the truth he's spitting, back and forth. But that's the way you can do it. Damien could go into the Clash as the heel, and Drew obviously is the hometown babyface, and that would work out perfectly, building up to it. Yeah.
Yeah. So Drew wins, but Damien walks out as champion.
All right. JPO?
Yeah, I'm a little more torn on the Damien part, but I am definitely going to agree that, prediction-wise, I'm thinking Drew takes the title here. The rumor of Seth being hurt, the fact that Drew's gone for it, the fact that Drew's kind of out at the moment, too, kind of reinvigorated himself these last, month or two. I'm going to go Drew McIntyre takes the title, at least for temporarily gets his moment, even if it is temporary. Yeah. So freaking no, which sadly would mean we all agree that Seth is going to have a bad weekend as far as win-loss wise. But,
probably, but he's going to get his 2 matches in and then go recover for a while, and he'll be back.
Hey man, he gets to sleep with Becky Lynch, cry me a river.
Oh yeah, no, I mean he's with Becky Lynch. He's still a shit ton of money. He doesn't give a fuck about that. I'm just saying, win-loss wise, it's not a good weekend.
I know.
Otherwise, it's a great weekend. Then you got your main event of the night. Again, like last year, Cody Rhodes, Roman Reigns, Harvard.
Yeah, eventually I'll be right. Roman's losing the title. I'm going with Cody.
Yeah, and should we? Because I feel like even Pez may disagree. Should we just replay the clip from last year, Richie?
Well, if you replay it from last year, I predicted Roman. Remember?
That's what I'm saying. I'm afraid you might do that again.
Yeah, I don't know. Who's up first? Who's up first on this one?
It was me. I already went Cody.
Okay, so good. You'll give me a minute to think about it.
Look at me be wrong, but I'm going Cody.
Yeah. Let me go transfer into JHPO a year ago. Cody's got to finish the story, right, guys? So Cody is going to win the match. Pez, you agree with all of us, right?
Well, I never bet against Roman in big matches, and you know what? This time I am, because I think Cody actually finishes this time, mainly because there's a certain McMahon family member that is no longer actually involved anymore to switch things last minute, and change his mind the fucking day of and screw the fucking guy. And we actually have somebody who is okay with somebody finishing the story. And I know I also think that guy was the one who kind of had the hard on for the Hulk Hogan record to beat that. And now that he's gone, we don't give a shit about that as much anymore. Because now, if you notice on commentary, they've switched to Roman having more WrestleMania main events than Hulk Hogan and just breaking that. And they haven't taught us much about the Hulk Hogan Day thing. It's that's good enough. Bro, you're still in the top 5. Whatever. So yeah, I know I've said over and over again I don't bet against Roman, and I haven't, but finally I think it's time to bet against Roman, especially since you're just weighing it on him this whole thing. You're gonna beat him down and then beat him again, and piss off everybody. I think Philly would actually fucking start a fire and riot if he actually lost this time, and they might set the stadium on fire. So yeah,
you don't piss off Philly.
You don't piss off Philly, they might actually tear the building down. So yeah.
As entertaining as that may be, I don't want anyone to lose their lives or a poor arena to get burnt down. It's not the arena's fault. So, we're all going to agree Cody finishes the motherfucking story.
Yeah.
Whatever. We're done.
So as far as predictions go, are we going just cumulative points both nights? Whoever wins, essentially, not just like night 1, night 2.
Yeah,
that's what I think. Just all grand total.
I would split up both if you wanted.
Yeah, and I think it's all but been confirmed that Rhea is going to open night 1. I believe she's been talking about it on social media and interviews and stuff.
Okay.
She always wanted to open a WrestleMania, and I think so. That's pretty. All but pretty much confirmed that she's going to open night 1, which would make sense. It's a big match to open up the show, and you could do that. And yeah, so and who knows what'll open up night 2, but I think we've got enough differences here. I don't think we'll have a whole lot of problems because there's enough looking up and down with predictions here.
I think the tag title thing helped us kind of give a point of difference.
Yeah, that one and the Andre. We're kind of split on the Andre the Giant thing, so we throw that in there, to kick things off, and then we got enough differences kind of throughout the card as well. Even this night too, we're kind of split on LA and AJ a little bit. The Pride Final Testament is split. Richie's going with Randy. So I mean, we got some mixed stuff here and there. Enough differences, I think, to be all right. Watch us have another fucking 3-way tie again by some means. Despite all this, we all just still end up with a 3-way tie. Damn it, we just can't get away from that.
3 of us share it again.
Again, yeah.
Hey, fuck you guys. Let me in.
I'll be the one sitting this one out.
Yes. But I guess that'll do it. I know we had a long episode.
All right,
tonight,
and Stand and Deliver. We're
gonna. All right, Stand and Deliver. All right, Ilya Dragunov versus Tony D'Angelo.
Tony D'Angelo should be the main event. I think it's Ilya Dragunov.
Yeah. Carmelo Hayes versus Dragunov. No,
Barbers in bed.
Exactly. No, we'll wrap it up there for the evening. Yeah, it's been a long show, but again, it's going to be a long weekend as well, but a fun weekend. We're all planning on watching it all together. I'm assuming on the stream. It's going to be a good time where we're gonna have some fun watching. It's good. I feel like it's one of the more hyped WrestleManias we've had in a while. As far as I think people are buzzing, people are talking, everybody's kind of ready for it, and ready to see what happens and see what goes down. Maybe see what surprises they may pull out with the 40th.
In a good way.
I feel like we keep forgetting it's the 40th anniversary. Like they might pull out some fun surprises for the 40th thing. They did for the 20th. Like I feel like we're almost forgetting that aspect of it. That it could be.
I wouldn't be surprised if there was some a thing where Shawn and Austin and Cena.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and again, like you said, JPO, they've got 7 matches on night 1, 6 on night 2, so more quality over quantity, and you can fill in the gaps with some really fun stuff. Yeah, not too much going on.
I also think I think Bubba Ray's teased stuff, doing stuff at WrestleMania. So maybe the Dudley Boys show up for a segment. I don't know.
Or for a segment, maybe. Okay, sure.
I think Dudley's pissed off they're not booked to get to the table.
I know the Dudleys are in town because they're working that ECW reunion show. Like that.
I just found out was a thing last night. I was like,
when I looked up that schedule and it was like BCW Extreme Bash Reunion, whatever it's called, and the Dudleys are in action. Tajiri, all those guys having matches. Yeah. So the Dudleys are in town, so I wouldn't be surprised.
Tajiri today just posted a photo of Perry Saturn. He's like,
he's
like, let's book that.
He was like, I was just sitting with Perry Saturn for an hour, until I realized it was him.
I know we're all tired. It's been a long show. We're gonna have some fun this weekend, and we'll wrap it up here. JPO, just some quick plugs to take us out, and we'll go around the horn. What you got?
Come on, the Periscope, Pierce Wrestling, this channel, Why We Love Horror, Combat Wrestling Trivia, Lights Out, all that jazz.
Oh yeah, that's fun there. Richie, what you got going on?
Basically just all that he said, and multiplex, whatever, and and they can find me. People know where to find me at this point.
All right, sounds good. Jacob, any quick plugs before we take us out?
Yeah, tomorrow night, Austin and I will be putting 32 of our favorite TV shows up against each other.
I'm not gonna get much sleep the next 3 nights. So y'all feel free to vote quickly on that one, and I won't be mad.
Yeah, send me speed round. That'd be cool.
Yeah, if we make speed round, I'm totally cool with that. So yeah, I'm gonna be very tired when we get to WrestleMania. So I'm gonna get much tonight, not get much tomorrow. So y'all want to vote quickly, I'm fine with that. Unofficially.
Yeah, so that'll be tomorrow night, and then eventually at some point, apparently I did enough to win my block in the Clash over on Combat Wrestling Trivia, so I will be the number 4 seed. But yeah, I play Joey Suba at some point over there, so keep a lookout for that.
Yeah. And then as far as the rest of the stuff on the channel, like we said, me versus Jacob TV shows tomorrow night. Tournament fights. I believe JPO, are you on with me on Rankum on Monday for WrestleMania moments?
Yeah, it was at
6:00. Could we add even that's post WrestleMania? Could there be a WrestleMania 40 moment we advocate for?
Oh, possibly.
Yeah, I mean, does that count if something epic happens and we,
after the show, it's already happened.
It's after the show. If it's happened, I say it counts. So it could be a WrestleMania moment. We'll see.
How dare you do that at 6 Eastern on a Monday?
It's nothing, man. We don't run the show. It's
a
show.
Welcome. Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's not our show. What are you gonna do it before WrestleMania? That ain't happening.
Although, as I said,
just later in the day, so I can do it.
Coming to this channel soon.
Yeah, right. So there you go. Got some Seen and Heard trivia happening next week. We got a tournament match and an April Fool's match. All bad movies in a Seen and Heard. That should be fun as well. So a couple things going on there, and then we'll be back next week, wrapping up WrestleMania and just doing a whole big WrestleMania review. We got 2 nights to review, so it should be a pretty big show going match by match and talking about it. So yeah, that'll do it. Unless anybody has any other little tidbits, I think we'll kind of wrap it up there. Once again, happy WrestleMania weekend to everybody who tunes into this and watches. I hope you all have lots of fun, eats lots of delicious, yummy snacks, enjoy some wrestling, enjoy all the different shows. I know we'll be watching some of the other shows that are happening this weekend as well on live and on replay. So great weekend to be a wrestling fan. Wrestling is cool again.
Watch the rest of Bloodsport with me after this is done. Who's down?
I already finished it, so not me. I'm going to bed. But as Rock said, wrestling is cool again, and it's pretty fun, and we're all having a great
wrestling
time.
Wrestling was never not cool.
Yeah, I know, but as he likes to say. But anyways, that'll do it for tonight. Thank you, Jacob. Thank you, Richie. Thank you, JPO. We'll see you guys next week for our wrap up. Good night.